Chapter 712. At the same time, in every corner of the first layer of the secret realm, the disciples of the various sects were shocked by the demonic chi erupting from the ground. They also discovered the direction of the demonic chi. Although no one knew where the demonic chi was, they all flew in that direction. Their thoughts were the same as the disciples of the blood-refining sect. Regardless of whether it was a fortuitous opportunity or a dangerous place, they would be able to deal with it. Coincidentally, the group had entered the mystic realm at the edge of the border, and the demonic chi upheaval was at the center of the mystic realm. Even if some demonic cultivators were not familiar with the terrain of the mystic realm, they had discovered this as they flew. Gradually, some groups began to encounter each other. On the second level of the Yuan secret realm, on a mountain peak at the edge of the core formation realm, 3 core formation realm cultivators from the blood-refining sect were guarding a cave. They were none other than the extreme devil, Fei Mo, and Guhan. Unlike the first layer, the second layer's terrain didn't change much. After so many years, the various sects had sent cultivators here. Naturally, the second layer's environment was recorded in detail. The only troublesome thing was that the second layer of the secret realm was filled with all kinds of chaotic restrictions. It was as if after a large restriction was destroyed, countless small restrictions were formed. There was no pattern to the location of the restrictions. Even core formation cultivators had to fly carefully. If they weren't careful, they might be trapped in a restriction or be injured or even killed by an attack. Of course, the rogue cultivators of the Western Prefecture and the 5 sects and 3 clans didn't know the exact situation of the restrictions. Only the 3 great sects like the blood-refining sect had some records of the restrictions here. Danger was accompanied by fortuitous opportunities. Apart from the dense restrictions on the second layer, there were also top-notch demonic treasures and herbs. The worst of them were at the core formation realm. At the same time, there are also grade 5 to grade 7 demonic beasts. The grade 7 demonic eagles of the Yin-Yang sect were obtained from the secret realm. Apart from that, there were caves of ancient demonic cultivators in the mountains of the second layer. This was the goal of the Qi Nation's core formation cultivators. After all, there were often relics of the ancient demonic cultivators in these caves. There were all kinds of pills, cultivation methods, and even the legendary water of the true devil that didn't contain the true devil intent. After the 10 core formation stage powerhouses of the blood-refining sect entered the secret territory, they found themselves in a huge mountain range. According to the information in their hands, they knew that this mountain range contained the cave of an ancient demonic cultivator. Therefore, they split into 3 groups and searched for the cave abodes in the mountain range separately. The group that found the cave abodes first would inform the other 2 groups so that they could break the restrictions of the cave abodes together. As for the Supreme Devil's group of 3, they were the first to discover an immortal cave. The Bone Soul looked at the cave dwelling with flickering restrictions and said, "Extreme demon, fat demon, do you think this cave dwelling has pure, true demon water?" Looking at the power of the restrictive spiritual light, it shouldn't be the abode of a core formation stage demonic cultivator. It's very likely to be of the nascent soul stage. Mo patted his stomach and shook the fat on his body. "Guhan, we all know that you are about to enter the completion stage and have a great need for pure, true demonic water, but don't be so impatient. Although this cave abode is not the abode of a core formation stage demonic cultivator, it is at most an early nascent soul stage demonic cultivator. We all know that only a late nascent soul stage demonic cultivator can have pure, true demonic water." The Bone Soul looked at the restrictive spell in front of him and sighed. Of course, he knew this, but he still had a glimmer of hope. If they found true demonic water here, then it would be much safer. After all, the more true demonic water they found, the more he could get. This place was at the edge of the secret territory. A late nascent soul stage abode must be in the center where the demonic chi was the densest. Because of the disorderly restrictive spells in the secret territory, it would take a lot of time to get to the center of the territory, even with the route drawn by the seniors in the sect. It would be better to explore a few more caves on the periphery. At this time, The Supreme Devil said, "Guhun, this is the first time we have entered the secret territory. Let's listen to Senior Brother Ma's arrangement. Among us, only he has been here 300 years ago. Senior Brother Ma must have made the best arrangement." The other brothers are coming. As soon as the Supreme Devil's voice fell, 7 streaks of light flew over. They had obviously received their message and rushed over. The Bone's soul floated forward and was about to speak. Suddenly, the mountain under their feet shook violently. Not only the mountain under their feet, but the entire mountain range seemed to be shaking. In an instant, countless rocks and soil fell from the various mountain peaks. There were also rumbling sounds coming from underground. The expressions of the blood-refining clan members changed greatly. They all raised their spiritual power shields and soared into the sky. Their spiritual sense spread out in all directions. It would have been better if they didn't check. After checking, everyone was stunned. They found that within the range of their spiritual sense, there was a huge tremor. The peak core formation powerhouse's spiritual sense even found that the ground outside the mountain range was also experiencing a huge earthquake. It was as if the entire secret territory was about to collapse. More than half of the mountain range's peaks were collapsing. The ground outside the mountain range was also being squeezed by a huge tremor. Many unfathomable gullies appeared. As the mountain and ground were being torn apart, some inexplicable silver light rose from the collapsed ground. Waves of dense demonic chi gushed out and flowed in a certain direction. The mountain peak beneath everyone's feet also collapsed, and the restrictions outside the cave were torn apart by this shocking phenomenon, collapsing on their own. The fat demon's round face was pale. He looked at an extremely old man who was all skin and bones and stammered, "Senior Brother Ma, I wonder what happened to the secret territory." This skinny old man was the leader of this team, the Blood Demon Master, Ma Jie. Ma Jie was now a peak core formation false core cultivator. He could have tried to condense a nascent soul a few decades ago. However, for this trip to the secret territory, he deliberately suppressed his cultivation. 300 years ago, Ma Jie had come to the secret realm as the Blood Devil Master of the core formation stage. He had the experience of escaping unscathed. In addition, Ma Jie was at the peak of the core formation stage, so everyone listened to his orders. Moreover, the Blood Demon Master had the demonic seed orb given to him by the nascent soul elders of the sect. The demonic seed orb was a one-time use Dharma artifact that was unique to the blood-refining sect. It could store a portion of nascent soul demonic chi. Core formation demonic chi cultivators only needed to refine the demonic seed orb to borrow the nascent soul demonic chi inside and unleash the power of an early nascent soul demonic chi cultivator for a short time. Back in the Ouyang family, Old Demon Pang used his consciousness and the demonic seed orb to severely injure the nascent soul demonic chi cultivators of the Seven Fiends sect in a short time. This was how miraculous the demonic seed orb was. With Ma Jie's strength and the demonic seed orb, he could be considered an early nascent soul demonic chi cultivator. Ma Jie observed the scene around him and frowned. He said in a hoarse voice, "I've never seen such a phenomenon 300 years ago. I've never heard the elders of the sect mention it either. It's very likely that this is the secret territory's sudden change." The secret territory's opening this time is a month earlier than usual. By the way, you should have noticed the change in the flow of the demonic chi. Everyone nodded. As core formation demonic chi cultivators, they naturally noticed this. Ma Jie licked his lips and said, "The demonic chi in the entire mountain range is all heading towards the central area. Something must have happened there. It's very likely that a rare treasure has appeared." The others looked at each other and saw the surprise in each other's eyes. They clearly understood that this was a great opportunity for them. Ma Jie smiled and said, "Don't worry. The demonic seed orb just now caused the restrictions in the secret territory to change drastically. It's different from what we've recorded before. It'll take us a long time to reach the central area. Why don't we take the opportunity to reap the benefits in front of us?" After saying that, Magiel looked down at the cave abode's restriction that had cracked because of the demonic seed orb. Chapter 713. Of course, it wasn't just the blood-refining sex core formation cultivators. Any core formation devil cultivator in the second layer of the concealed realm was alarmed by the earth-shaking phenomenon. They also discovered the direction of the flow of devil chi. Although everyone wanted to immediately rush to the place where the devil chi was converging, the changes in the terrain had increased the number of broken restrictions, which became their biggest obstacle. However, some of the cave-dwelling restrictions in the secret realm had also collapsed. At the same time, many hidden treasures emerged from the ground. The phenomenon had also affected a large number of high-grade devil beasts. Many of them had left their original territories due to the changes in the secret realm, increasing the frequency of their encounters with core formation devil cultivators. In a short period of time, the second layer of the secret realm had undergone earth-shattering changes. However, for the core formation devil cultivators who came in to search for treasures, this was a heaven-sent opportunity. In the central region of the second layer, the mountain range that the three great devil sects originally believed to contain a late nascent soul-stage devil cultivator's cave dwelling had undergone an even more astonishing change. According to the records of the three sects, the central region of the second layer was a vast mountain range filled with all kinds of restrictions and high-grade devil beasts. It also contained the cave dwellings of mid and late nascent soul-stage devil cultivators. At the same time, the mountains within the heart of the mountain range were being crushed by an indescribable force. Hidden within the mountains were the immortals' caves of late nascent soul-stage devil cultivators. They were completely powerless to resist the force of the force. Dazzling silver seals gradually appeared from the cracks in the mountains, as if the silver seals were rising from the ground. A large number of tall mountain peaks were easily shattered from the inside by the silver restrictions. Tens of thousands of huge rocks rolled in all directions, creating a deafening roar. The roars of many wild beasts were mixed in. Only a few high-grade devil beasts escaped from the shattered mountain peaks. After all, grade 5 devil beasts and above could fly even without wings. As the central mountain peaks were completely shattered, the outline of an arc-shaped silver restriction gradually appeared. It seemed to be the highest point of the silver arc. With the highest point as the center, the rocks on the mountain peaks were rolling in all directions. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, the mountain range that was originally filled with restrictions and many high-grade devil beasts had disappeared. It was replaced by a huge silver light barrier that was dozens of miles in diameter. It was like a large bowl that was placed upside down in the mountain range. The dense devil chi in the second layer of the secret realm was being absorbed by the silver restriction. At the same time, in the depths of the central mountain range, a huge mysterious cave also lit up with a silver luster. This was a huge cave with a radius of several thousand feet and a height of over 100 feet. The silver light was coming from a circular spell formation light screen in the middle. This light screen had a diameter of 100 feet, and there was a hint of gray light within the silver light. Vaguely, one could see two ponds, one large and one small, within it. One of them was a square-shaped pool that was 50 to 60 feet long and wide, with a thick purplish-black mist rising from it. On the other side was a small container pool that was a few feet in diameter, and there seemed to be only a layer of pure black liquid inside. In the middle of the two pools, there was a white crystal of laws with 8 smooth, triangular surfaces. This crystal exuded a peculiar aura as it floated a foot above the ground. The ground under the crystal and the surroundings of the two pools were covered in incomparably complicated patterns that seemed to have been carved with some kind of special material. They looked very mysterious. In this extremely quiet cave, apart from the restriction that emitted a silver light in the middle, there were also 4 seemingly abandoned teleportation formations in the corners of the cave. Not long after the silver light screen in the center lit up, the teleportation formation at the edge flashed with light, and a brown creature that looked like a scorpion appeared in the formation. This scorpion had sharp gray blades on its pincers and tail. It was half the height of a person, and it filled the entire teleportation formation. As if because of the scorpion's appearance, the teleportation formation below, it sensed something, and several rays of gray light immediately appeared around it, turning into an eggshell-shaped spiritual light that enveloped the teleportation formation. The scorpion's body swayed slightly, as if it hadn't reacted yet. After a while, it opened its compound eyes and looked at the gray light in front of it. Its compound eyes flashed with intelligence, and it seemed to be deep in thought. But then, through the gray spiritual light, it saw the silver light screen in the center of the cave, as well as the pool and the octahedral crystal inside. An excited divine sense surged on the scorpion's body. "Ha! Nether ant, the nether scorpion didn't lie to you. Using my method, you can use the formation I of the 10 ultimate netherworld formation to smoothly teleport to the devil-cleansing cave through the formation set up by the Yuan sect." Another divine sense appeared from the scorpion's body with a hint of excitement. "Is this really the place where my race's sacred item is kept?" The nether scorpion swung its tail. "Of course, as long as you come out, you'll see it." Then, the nether scorpion opened its mouth below its compound eyes, and a ferocious gray ant the size of a thumb with a pair of mandibles on its head hurriedly crawled out. It looked like the nether flying ant. As the ant's body left the nether scorpion's mouth, its body gradually grew larger, and soon it was the size of a fist. It nimbly climbed onto the nether scorpion's head, and the pair of pitch-black compound eyes on its mandibles looked through the light screen. Then its eyes bloomed with joy, and the antennae on its forehead trembled incessantly. After a while, the fist-sized nether-flying ant calmed down. "Nether scorpion, what's up with this spirit light that's shrouding us? Why do I smell that abominable aura?" It's somewhat similar to the defensive restriction of the 10 ultimate netherworld formation. The nether scorpion waved its gray pincers, and divine sense surged. The Yuan sect wants to use our race's sacred item to purify the water of the true devil pool. Naturally, they need to use the cold Yin energy. It's not surprising that there's a 10 ultimate netherworld formation here. You should know that the 10 ultimate netherworld formation, in addition to stabilizing the cracks at the bottom of the abyss, can also absorb the cold Yin energy. Only the cold Yin energy can activate our race's sacred item for the people of the Yuan sect to use. This place is related to the abyss. The Yuan sect must have left a backup plan to prevent the survivors of our nether insect race from coming here. As long as we teleport here, we'll be trapped. The nether ant's compound eyes flashed with fear. "Nether scorpion, the defensive restriction of the 10 ultimate netherworld formation restrains our race. Won't we be trapped in this teleportation formation with no way to leave?" The nether scorpion hissed, sounding very pleased. "That's why I let your descendants continue to destroy the 10 ultimate netherworld formations' subformation eyes in the abyss. As long as those subformation eyes are destroyed, a crack will appear in the connection between the 10 ultimate netherworld formation and the devil cleansing cave. When that happens, the cold Yin energy won't be able to be transmitted here for a short time. Without the supply of cold Yin energy, the 10 ultimate netherworld formation won't be able to trap my current nether insect body. When the time comes, we just need to destroy the last restriction light curtain, and there won't be any problems." The nether ant's compound eyes flashed. "Nether scorpion, you still have 1,000 of my nether ant guards in your body. Why don't you use the previous method to destroy the light of the 10 ultimate netherworld formation in front of us? Although the devil cleansing cave is hidden, it's still within the hidden territory. What if those human cultivators come in?" The nether scorpion waved its tail. "No, those 1,000 nether ant guards are for the restriction outside the sacred item. How can we waste them here? As long as the cold Yin energy is broken, my scorpion tail alone will be able to pierce through it. Son, those humans are only at the core formation stage. The restriction here isn't something they can break. As for our safety, you don't have to worry. With my body as a 9th level insect general, they won't be able to break through my carapace armor. All right, It's a pity that my consciousness clone can't contact my main body in the abyss. Otherwise, I would know the progress of my children's destruction. Your main body will be able to sense when we return, as long as. Chapter 714. Somewhere in the first layer of the Hidden Realm, Lu Kuan's group of 10 or so people benefited from the Flat Moon flying boat, with the 4 of them taking turns to inject demonic energy into the flying boat. They were able to maintain an extremely fast speed as they flew towards the center of the Hidden Realm. Perhaps due to their fast flying speed, they didn't encounter any other demonic cultivator groups. Along the way, they even avoided the pursuit of many demonic beasts. This made everyone realize the benefits of the Flat Moon airship. They no longer underestimated Zhang Yang, who had taken out the airship. Previously in the demonic pine forest, Zhang Yang's strange escape speed had made them extremely wary. These blood-refining sect disciples didn't believe that Zhang Yang's escape technique was only nimble. If he could display such speed in the forest, then it would be even more astonishing in the unobstructed sky. Lu Kuan and Su Zihong stood at the front of the flying boat, constantly using their divine sense to observe the changes in the surrounding demonic qi. However, Su Zihong didn't know that Lu Kuan was actually using the terrifying divine sense of a late core formation cultivator. They had already left the demonic pine forest for a day and a night. The demonic qi in the Hidden Realm was the same as before, surging towards the center. Moreover, the closer they got, the more obvious the demonic qi became. When Lu Kuan was conversing with He Sha, he didn't reveal that he had entered the Yi Yuan Hidden Realm. Therefore, he didn't tell Mo Han about the strange changes in the Hidden Realm. For safety's sake, Lu Kuan didn't continue to enter the Yi Yuan Jade Pendant. Instead, he focused on the changes outside. Junior Brother Zhang, Junior Brother Su, Fong Hao greets you. While Lu Kuan and Su Zihong were observing their surroundings, Fong Hao, who had previously interacted with Lu Kuan, slowly walked towards them with Bai Jie. At this time, Bai Jie looked a little strange. Her eyes flashed with pain, her face alternated between white and red, and the demonic qi on her body fluctuated. The demonic qi on her body had disappeared without a trace. Su Zihong glanced at Bai Jie and said, "Senior Brother Fong, what's the matter?" Fong Hao said hesitantly, "Junior Sister Bai and I do have something important to discuss with the 2 junior brothers, but..." Zhang Yang and Su Zihong exchanged a glance, and each of them shot out a black demonic light, enveloping them and Bai Jie. This black demonic light not only isolated their divine sense, but also blocked their vision. The surrounding blood-refining sect disciples had different expressions when they saw this, but none of them said anything. Lu Kuan said slowly, "Senior Apprentice Brother Fong, if you have something to say, just say it. Junior Apprentice Brother Su and I are using the Blood Devil arts to jointly release a devilish light barrier. Even a Great Circle Foundation establishment cultivator would have a hard time probing inside." Fong Hao used his divine sense to scan the area, but he was still a bit worried. Using his Foundation establishment late-stage demonic power, he set up an isolation barrier. Only then did he let out a sigh of relief and said, "Junior Martial Brothers, please don't blame me. This is really a serious matter. Only the 2 of you should know about it." Su Zihong looked at Bai Jie thoughtfully and said, "Since Senior Apprentice Brother Fong said so, could it be that this senior sister Bai was arranged by the elders of the sect?" After the 3 isolation barriers appeared, the demonic power in Bai Jie's body was completely chaotic. She closed her eyes and circulated her demonic power with all her might, unable to speak. Fong Hao said with some admiration, "Junior Apprentice Brother Su is really smart. Bai Jie is indeed the biggest trump card of our Fong family in this secret realm." Then he said with some regret, "But there is a problem with Junior Sister Bai's cultivation method. She needs the 2 blood devils to use the blood coagulation technique to help her stabilize her demonic power." Su Zihong's expression changed. "Senior Apprentice Brother Fong, how do you know about the blood coagulation technique? Moreover, the blood coagulation technique only works on blood demonic power. Could it be that Senior Sister by cultivates blood demonic power? Lu Kuan also revealed a surprised expression when he heard Fong Hao's words. The blood coagulation technique was an auxiliary secret technique of the Blood Devil arts. Its main function was to stabilize blood demonic power. When cultivators of the Blood Devil arts cultivated blood demonic power, their blood would boil and their blood demonic power would surge. If they didn't control it well, they would suffer a qi deviation. The blood coagulation technique's main function was to stabilize blood demonic power. However, Lu Kuan's blood essence was abundant and his blood vessels were tough. He wouldn't encounter this problem at all. Therefore, he hadn't used the blood coagulation technique before. Since Fong Hao wanted them to use the blood coagulation technique on Bai Jie, it meant that Bai Jie also had blood demonic power. Fong Hao smiled bitterly. Elder Qian told me about the blood coagulation technique. As for Bai Jie's cultivation method, I'll explain it to my 2 junior apprentice brothers. He looked at Bai Jie, who was doing her best to control her demonic power, and asked, "Junior apprentice brothers, do you know about the Yin Devil arts?" Lu Kuan raised his eyebrows. "Of course I do. The Yin Devil arts is the top cultivation method of the Yin-Yang sect. Only women can cultivate it. The Yang Devil arts can only be cultivated by men. The 2 late, nascent soul cultivators of the Yin-Yang sect are devil cultivators who have cultivated these 2 cultivation methods to the extreme." Su Zihong seemed to have thought of something. He looked at Bai Jie and said, "Could it be that she cultivates the Yin Devil arts?" Fong Hao shook his head. "Yes and no. The Yin Devil arts is the top cultivation method of the Yin-Yang sect. Its status is on par with the Blood Devil arts. How could we have obtained it? However, our sect has an incomplete copy of this cultivation method." Fong Hao continued, "Rumor has it that the core of the Yin Devil arts is to refine one's 5 elemental spiritual roots through dual cultivation and raise one's aptitude. Rumor has it that even a 4 elemental spiritual roots aptitude can be raised as long as there are countless peak aptitude dual cultivation partners." Lu Kuan and Su Zihong listened quietly and didn't interrupt. The core cultivation method of the Yin-Yang sect was indeed rumored to have such an ability. Otherwise, it wouldn't have gathered so many disciples. Fong Hao continued, "You 2 should know of our sect's Moonlight Fairy, right?" Su Zihong nodded. "Of course. Moonlight Fairy is a late core formation cultivator. She came to the secret realm with us. However, Martial Uncle Moonlight went to the 2nd level." Lu Kuan also remembered that on the Blood Cloud flying ship, there was a very ordinary-looking woman among the group of core formation cultivators. At that time, Old Demon Situ was on the flying ship, so he didn't dare to examine her closely. Fong Hao said, "Junior apprentice brothers, you might not know this, but Moonlight Fairy is my grandmother. She cultivates the Moonlight Devil arts. The Moonlight Devil arts is also a top cultivation method. Through dual cultivation, one can plunder a portion of the other's flesh and devil essence and store it. In the future, you can use the flesh and devil essence to help you break through to the next level." Lu Kuan's eyes narrowed. This cultivation method immediately reminded him of the vitality-devouring art that Shun Mingyao used on him. It could also absorb flesh and blood essence. Otherwise, he wouldn't have dropped to the level of a body cultivator. Su Zihong was also very surprised. The Moonlight Devil arts sounded more practical than the Yin Devil arts. It seemed that as long as there was enough flesh and devil essence, it could make breakthroughs easier. Fong Hao naturally understood Su Zihong's doubts. He explained, "Don't think too much. The Moonlight Devil arts doesn't help you break through to the next level that much. Otherwise, Grandmother Moonlight would have entered the nascent soul stage long ago." Lu Kuan asked, "Senior apprentice brother Fong, you mentioned the Yin Devil arts and the Moonlight Devil arts. Which one does senior apprentice sister by cultivate? What does it have to do with the blood coagulation art?" Chapter 715. Dark Moonlight Demonic Art. Su Zihong murmured. Fong Hao said, "That's right. Grandmother Yuehua's talent is amazing. She integrated the dark moonlight demonic art into the dark moonlight demonic art. Although the dark moonlight demonic art is not perfect, it can become a top divine ability. Lu Kuan couldn't help but ask, what divine ability? Su Zihong thought of by Jie entering the secret realm with a foundation establishment middle stage cultivation and asked with uncertainty, is it related to combat power? Fang Hao was about to explain when Bai Jie let out a cry and blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. The demonic energy in her body became unstable and gave people a feeling of extreme danger, as if it could explode at any time. Lu Kuan was also a little surprised. Although Bai Jie couldn't threaten him, he could feel that the energy in her body was close to the core formation stage. He couldn't help but narrow his eyes, and a golden light flashed in the depths of his pupils. Fang Hao saw Bai Jie's appearance, and his expression changed. He hurriedly said, Junior brothers, please use the blood coagulation art first. Otherwise, Junior sister Bai's efforts will be in vain. Su Zihong was very decisive. He immediately formed a hand seal and shot out a black light from his hands into Bai Jie's body. If it was outside the secret realm, he would have doubted Fang Hao's words. But inside the secret realm, the disciples of the blood refining sect were very united. As Su Zihong used the blood coagulation art, the demonic energy in Bai Jie's body calmed down a lot, and her face no longer changed between red and white. After a while, Bai Jie looked at Su Zihong gratefully and said in a haggard voice, Thank you, Junior Brother Su. Senior sister will be fine after some adjustment. The whole process just now was seen by Lu Kuan with his golden eye divine ability. He now had some understanding of Bai Jie's divine ability. Seeing that Bai Jie was fine, Fang Hao began to explain, Junior brothers, Grandmother Yuehua values this dark moonlight demonic art so much because this divine ability is extremely powerful. It can also absorb a large amount of demonic energy essence from cultivators of the same level through dual cultivation and stored in the body. However, this energy is not used for a breakthrough, but for a one-time eruption when the time is right. Could it be that he broke through several minor realms in one go? Su Zihong was puzzled. Fang Hao replied, Yes, but you can also say no. Junior Marshall's sister Bai started cultivating this technique 20 years ago. In the past few years, with the help of our Fang clan, she's been able to absorb more than 30 cultivators with excellent aptitudes at the peak of the aura refining stage, as well as more than 20 foundation establishment devil cultivators. Although each person only stores a small portion of their flesh and blood essence, the amount accumulated is still very shocking. Most of this energy is stored in the dantian, but there's also a small portion in the blood. However, it only uses blood to store energy. It's not like the blood demon art, which can be used at any time. When Lu Kuan heard this, he knew that the creation of the dark moonlight demonic art was definitely done by a nascent soul elder. Only someone who was proficient in the blood devil arts would be able to come up with such a method that involved blood. Su Zihong came to a realization and said, No wonder you need the blood coagulation technique. With so much essence energy, even if a part of it is in the blood, it will naturally go berserk if it can't be used. Then he said, But why does Senior Marshall's sister Bai store so much energy that she can't control? Fang Hao's eyes flashed with a trace of excitement. Storing so much energy isn't for a breakthrough, but for a short period of time to directly erupt with devil power that far surpasses her current level. According to Grandmother's conjecture, once the stored energy of the dark moonlight demonic art is absorbed and activated by a secret technique, it can allow a foundation establishment cultivator to condense some core formation devil power within their body, allowing them to erupt with the terrifying might of a core formation cultivator for a short period of time. Furthermore, after using the dark moonlight demonic art, there are no side effects to the cultivator. Instead, there are all kinds of benefits. Su Zihong and Lu Kuan's eyes flashed with a trace of astonishment. To allow a foundation establishment cultivator to unleash the might of a core formation cultivator without any side effects, this divine ability was extremely heaven-defying. Fang Hao continued, combined with the secret technique of the dark demon art, The cultivator can also refine their body's meridians and dantian, increasing their aptitude. It can also allow the cultivator to feel the devil power of a core formation cultivator in advance. This completely reduces the risk of condensing the core in the future, making cultivation easier. Unfortunately, the technique is not perfect. If there is too much energy, there is no way to stabilize the devil power. You have to rely on the help of the blood demon art. Hearing this, not to mention Su Zihong, even Lu Kuan was a little shocked with his current level. This technique sounded very powerful. The eruption of the secret technique could produce temporary devil power of a core formation cultivator. Not to mention that there were no side effects. It could also improve one's aptitude and comprehension of the realm. It seemed to be more useful than the dark demon art. However, Lu Kuan thought of the situation in Bai Jie's body just now and secretly shook his head. The flaws of this technique were not small. Without the help of the Fong family, with Bai Jie's ability, there was no way she could swallow so many Foundation establishment demonic cultivators, let alone get the help of the blood demon. Through the golden eye, he indeed observed that Bai Jie's dantian hid a large amount of concentrated devil power. This devil power was combined with the essence of her flesh and blood, so if one did not observe carefully with the divine sense, they would not be able to see it. There was also a lot of energy mixed in by Jie's blood. If this energy was really condensed and erupted, it might really have the power of a core formation cultivator. However, in Lu Kuan's eyes, Bai Jie's organs had begun to fail. After all, Bai Jie did not cultivate the blood demon art, nor did she cultivate the body refining art. The energy in her blood was not under her control, and the blood would not stop flowing. The energy stored for so many years had already destroyed her internal organs. In Lu Kuan's view, even if Bai Jie's aptitude improved after the energy burst, her lifespan would be greatly reduced. It would be much shorter than other Foundation establishment cultivators. It was uncertain whether she could enter the core formation realm in the remaining time. Su Zihong, Fong Hao, and Bai Jie naturally did not know about the problem of internal organs and lifespan. Lu Kuan was not stupid enough to say it out loud. On the contrary, his incarnation of Zhang Yang said with excitement, "So, as long as Brother Su and I use the blood coagulation technique to assist Senior Sister Bai, she will be able to erupt with the strength of a core formation cultivator at a critical moment." Su Zihong also looked at Fong Hao with shining eyes. The latter said with certainty, "Of course. My Fong clan has already prepared a pseudo-magic weapon for Bai Jie. Once it erupts, it will have the strength of an early core formation cultivator at least 3 times. It will be enough to reverse the situation at a critical moment." Su Zihong laughed heartily and said, "In that case, Senior Brother Fong can rest assured. As long as Senior Sister Bai needs it, we will use the blood coagulation technique to help her at any time." Fong Hao cupped his fists and said, "Many thanks, Junior Brothers." At this time, Bai Jie had completely stabilized the devil power in her body and returned to her previous flirtatious appearance. She covered her red lips and giggled. "Senior Sister, thanks Junior Brothers." The few of them casually chatted for a while before putting away the isolation barrier. As for the blood-refining sect disciples who were watching from the outside, they discovered that Bai Jie seemed to have become even more beautiful after the barrier disappeared. They couldn't help but mutter to themselves as they looked at the 4 people with strange gazes. Su Zihong looked at everyone's expressions and didn't explain anything. But this time, the bracelet on his right hand suddenly emitted a cry. Everyone on the flying boat could clearly hear it. Su Zihong's expression changed, and he sank his divine sense into the bracelet. Then he said in a deep voice, "Everyone, there's a group of devil cultivators about 10 miles behind us. They are rushing over." Lu Kuan glanced at Su Zihong's bracelet and sighed his heart. This blood devil with a dark spiritual root was really well taken care of by the sect. He was even rewarded with something that had the same perception range as a core formation cultivator. He wondered what kind of treasure it was. In his divine sense, there was indeed a group of 9 rogue cultivators flying 10 miles away. Both groups were flying towards the central area. Suzy Hong saw that the surrounding people were suspicious and solemnly said, "This is a reward from Elder Qian. You don't need to doubt it. That group is flying in the same direction as us. Sooner or later, we will meet them." The devil sword chi in Zhou Yu's body began to stir. He licked his lips and said, "Hee hee, then let's go at full speed. Junior brother Su, you can calculate the route, and we can ambush them." The other blood refining sect disciples were excited. Although their leader, the Blood Devil, didn't have the highest cultivation, the strength of the two groups was equal to half of all the disciples who entered the mystic realm. They were confident in ambushing any group. Chapter 716. The sky of the secret realm was quiet. Black clouds floated in the air, and a group of cultivators flew quickly between the clouds on their respective flying artifacts. "Cousin, we could have wiped out all those demonic beasts just now," a young woman with a neutral face said, her tone full of regret. A handsome man beside her shook his head and said, "Cousin, you underestimate the demonic beasts here. Their combat power is much stronger than ordinary demonic beasts. If it weren't for the fact that we wanted to reach the place where the demonic chi gathered earlier, we wouldn't have taken this route." Then he said with some relief, "Fortunately, we didn't suffer too much loss. We passed through that valley, so we should be able to reach our destination earlier." The young woman pouted and muttered, "Our Zhua family's blood soul incense is very attractive to demonic beasts. These demonic beasts are not demonic beasts, so they're easily played by us. If we set up an ambush, we can definitely catch them all." This man and woman were the direct descendants of the Zhua family, the head of the 3 clans in the West region. The handsome man was called Zhua Bufan, and the neutral woman was called Zhua Runin. Both of them were at the Great Circle of Foundation establishment. Their group had a total of 9 people. In the front of the group were Zhua Bufan and 2 other disciples of the Zhua family. The 3 in the middle belonged to one of the 5 sects, the Demon Flame sect. As for the 3 at the back, they were from the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Among the 3 from the Zhua family, the Zhua siblings were at the Great Circle of Foundation establishment. Coupled with the Zhua family's own strength, they naturally became the leaders of the group. This was how the teams in the West region were distributed. The sects, clans, and individual cultivators were all very wary of each other. The competition between the 5 sects and the 3 clans was very intense. Being separated like this allowed them to work together. A tall man with purple flames engraved on his robe laughed. "The Zhua family's blood soul incense is indeed worthy of its reputation. As soon as we appeared from the secret realm, we identified the direction and flew for a day and a night. I think we will reach our destination soon. I wonder what Brother Zhua plans to do next. After all, the 3 demonic sects are likely to be one step ahead of us." Hearing this, Zhua Bufan said in a low voice, "After we reach our destination, we will naturally wait and see. It's best to find the other groups in the West region. That way, we won't have to fear the 3 demonic sections." Zhua Runin's eyes flashed with eagerness. "Cousin, why don't we find a place to set up an ambush? According to the clan elders, the people from the 3 great devil sects will be in groups of 7 or 8 at most." Zhua Bufan's expression changed, and he scolded, "What do you know? The people of the 3 devil sects are much stronger than you think. If we encounter the 7 evils sects group, even if we have twice as many people, we can barely protect ourselves. If the 7 of them work together, they can fight against a core formation cultivator." Zhua Runin was unconvinced. "So what if he's a core formation cultivator? It's not like we haven't escaped from a core formation cultivator before." Zhua Bufan felt a headache when he saw that his cousin was very stubborn. He, who had experienced a lot, naturally knew how powerful the 3 devil sects were. Even if they had some life-saving treasures in their hands, it was very likely that their escape route would be blocked and they would not be able to escape. Zhua Bufan shook his head and ignored Zhua Runin. He carefully probed forward with his divine sense, especially the ground below. After flying for a day and a night, he felt that they would encounter other groups. The secret realm was pitch black. In this environment full of devil chi, The clouds in the sky were also black. Joie Buffon and the others were flying in the air, so they were not surprised by the color of these clouds. Just as they passed by a black cloud that was 10 feet in size, the surrounding devil chi suddenly fluctuated. A purple-black lightning suddenly flashed in this huge dahe cloud. Joie Buffon and the others were shocked. Although the environment of the secret realm was very similar to the outside world, there was still a big difference. They did not think that there would be thunder and rain here. This lightning was too strange. "Everyone, be careful," Joie Buffon shouted. While everyone activated their magic shields, they also summoned their respective magic tools. As soon as they completed all this, a loud, thunderous sound came from the black clouds above. 2 black lightning bolts that were thicker than the rim of a bowl shot out directly from the black cloud, accurately blasting towards Joie Buffon and the others. After Joie Buffon scanned with his divine sense, his face changed greatly. It's a devil path magic spell comparable to the Thunder Fall technique. We've been ambushed. Even without Joie Buffon's reminder, the people below also felt the terrible power of these 2 lightning bolts. Naturally, they did not dare to take them head-on and urged the flying magic tools under their feet to dodge. Who knew that the 2 lightning bolts seemed to be guided by someone and turned around the 3 people from the Devil Flame sect, respectively blasting towards the Joie family and the rogue cultivators. In order not to take the lightning bolts head-on, the 3 people from the Devil Flame sect had to stay where they were. "Ha! Junior Brother Zhang's Devil Thunder technique is really wonderful. Leave the rest to us." Zhou Yu's voice came from behind the black cloud. At the same time, a sharp 3-foot-long sword mixed with surging sword chi blasted towards the 3 people from the Devil Flame sect. Then, more than 10 magic tools followed closely behind. As if they had discussed beforehand, they each chose their opponents. The people of the West region below all cried out in anger. The team of the Blood Refining sect had a total of 16 people. Under the sneak attack, more than 10 magic tools were used to fight against 9 people below, so they immediately had the upper hand. Lu Kuan stood on the flat moon flying boat in the black cloud. His hands flashed with the light of devil thunder, and several flashing talismans floated around him. His forehead was faintly sweating, and he seemed to be struggling to control the lightning magic spell. Of course, he was pretending to be struggling. His core formation stage divine sense easily controlled 2 lightning bolts that were comparable to the Thunderfall technique. They bombarded the group of people below, causing bursts of roars. Then, Lu Kuan threw out a magic tool to join the attack, while observing with interest. The Blood Refining sect had the flat moon flying boat and the top concealment magic spell. In addition, the height of the black cloud in the secret realm hindered the divine sense. So naturally, it was best to ambush in the air. Lu Kuan also told the others that he had a kind of Devil Thunder talisman. The fusion secret technique could use the devil clouds here to cast a Devil Thunder spell comparable to the Thunderfall technique. Therefore, the sneak attack just now was the reason. TSK, the Foundation Establishment Cultivators of the Blood Refining sect, are not weak. Not to mention they have a huge advantage in numbers. Those 3 people seem to be from the Devil Flame sect. Unfortunately, their cultivation is too weak. Even if they use their magic power as one, the duration of the Devil Flame is limited. Lu Kuan looked at the 3 people below and judged. These 3 people were the key disciples of the Devil Flame sect. They were besieged by 6 level 3 magic tools, so they had to join forces to cast a purple-black Devil Flame to barely resist. The Blood Refining sect's people had rich battle experience. They did not fight the Devil Flame head-on, but waited for an opportunity to attack the magic power shield. The 6 magic tools completely sealed the escape space of the 3 people. As long as the Devil Flame dissipated, they would be defeated. I've seen the Joie siblings outside Monolith City before. Their cultivation and magic tools are not bad. Hey, they seem to have a few life-saving talismans in their hands. Just as Lu Kuan was thinking, a glaring scarlet halo erupted from the battle between the 3 people of the Joie family. An incomparably turbulent airflow erupted and sent the 5 magic tools of the blood-refining sect flying. Then, the 3 people were shrouded in a greenish-black light and turned into an extremely fast escape light, shooting away into the distance. Su Zihong noticed the scene and said regretfully, "They used 2 self-exploding magic tools and a top-grade heaven escape talisman in one go. The Zhua family is really decisive." Then he said in a deep voice, "For safety's sake, focus on the 3 people of the Devil Flame sect. We must make them stay. Ignore the 3 rogue cultivators." Hearing Su Zihong's words, some people frowned, but most of them agreed, who didn't have a few life-saving treasures in their hands when they entered the secret realm. It was safer to focus on the 3 people. As a result, under the desperate gazes of the disciples of the Demon Flame sect, more than 10 magic tools flashing with demonic light surrounded and attacked them. As for the 3 rogue cultivators, they immediately took a type of pill that could increase their demonic power and fled in another direction. Chapter 717. A quarter of an hour later, the 3 disciples of the Demon Flame sect were captured alive without any resistance due to the huge difference in numbers and strength. Their demonic power was sealed, and they were thrown into a corner of the flying boat. As for why they were captured alive, it was because Feng Hao and Bai Jie had found Su Zihong beforehand. If they encountered male cultivators, it was best to capture them alive. The 3 disciples of the Demon Flame sect were at the late Foundation establishment stage. If Bai Jie absorbed their demonic power, she would be able to use it for a longer time. With the help of Lu Kuan and Su Zihong's blood coagulation technique, Bai Jie didn't have too many scruples. Even if she absorbed more, it wouldn't cause too much trouble in a short time. She also wanted to use her gold core demonic power for a longer time. According to their estimation, it would take about a day to reach their destination. During this time, Bai Jie would be able to absorb the demonic power essence of these 3 people. The others in the team didn't care. Except for Bai Jie, no one here cultivated the yang replenishing yin technique. They were not interested in the bodies of these 3 people and were busy distributing the spoils. Although only 3 people were captured, they were the top Foundation establishment disciples of the Demon Flame sect. Everyone in the blood refining sect was quite satisfied. Moreover, in the battle just now, everyone had a deep understanding of the combat strength of the 2 blood devils. Su Zihong controlled the blood sword artifact with demonic blood power, so its power was not inferior to anyone. It definitely had the combat strength of a peak Foundation establishment cultivator. Zhang Yiyang didn't use the blood devil art, but just against the demon thunder talisman. With his control, he was able to cast 2 spells comparable to the Thunderfall technique. The strength of the 2 had been completely recognized. In the center of the first level of the secret realm, where the demon chi gathered, there were 2 twin peaks that exuded pure demon chi. The peaks were about 2,000 feet tall, and they just happened to reach the top of the secret realm where the divine sense was isolated. The surface of the 2 peaks was covered with rocks with a bright black luster. They had sharp edges and were very sturdy. The rocks were also faintly emitting black smoke. If one looked carefully, the air around the black smoke was distorted, obviously containing an extremely high temperature. The 2 mountain peaks were not huge. Even the base of the mountain peaks was only about 4,000 feet in diameter. The higher one went, the narrower it became. At the waist of the mountain, the diameter was only 2,000 feet. However, halfway up the mountain was also the boundary between the 2 peaks. The surface of the rock here was 1,000 feet wide, and thick black smoke rose up. This was the place where the smoke was thickest in the twin peaks, and even the air seemed to be burning. Halfway up the mountain, the 2 peaks began to separate. At the top of the mountain, the black mountain rock was as narrow as a sharp cone, only enough for a few people to stand. In addition to the black smoke rising from the mountain, it was also trembling slightly. It was as if there was a violent energy accumulating inside, ready to erupt at any time. There were piles of fresh soil all around the foot of the double-peak stone mountain. There were even many oddly shaped stones scattered around, exuding an astonishing amount of devil chi. This kind of terrain made people feel as if the twin peaks of the mountain had pierced a hole in the ground and then broken out of the ground. At this time, around 1.5 kilometers away from the twin peaks, countless devil chi and magic auras surged. Dust surged up from the ground, and all the trees in a radius of several hundred feet were flattened. The people standing in the circle were clearly divided into two groups. One group had over 40 people standing outside the circle, while the other group only had over 10 people. They were completely surrounded in the middle. In this way, the two sides clashed for half a day. Then, two ferocious auras suddenly appeared. If Lu Kuan were here, he would be shocked to discover that these two auras had the might of a core formation cultivator. At this moment, the most eye-catching things were the two incomparably dense black devil chi barriers on the ground. They were like two huge black bowls placed upside down on the ground. These two barriers were incomparably thick. Powerful devil chi circulated on them, far surpassing the level of a foundation establishment cultivator. They were clearly the auras of a core formation cultivator. Outside these two barriers, there were clearly two groups of people surrounding them. Each group had over 20 people. Looking at their robes, they were actually people from the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect. The two great devil sects were working together to fight the enemy. Disciples of the Seven Fiends sect form 3 formations and kill those bastards from the blood-refining sect. A slender and handsome man from the Seven Fiends sect shouted. Soon after, the 21 people from the Seven Fiends sect formed 3 square formations surrounding a black barrier. The foundation establishment devil chi in each square formation condensed together, gradually emitting the aura of a core formation cultivator. Soon after, 7 magic tools appeared above each square formation. They were a sword, a saber, a spear, a shield, a ring, a hook, and a whip. These third-grade magic tools slowly condensed together under the influence of the core formation devil chi. They combined together to form a strange weapon that was neither a spear nor a sword. It was a strange weapon with strange ornaments. A faintly discernible aura surged from it, giving the impression that it was a magic tool. The 21 Foundation establishment cultivators from the Seven Fiends sect all had solemn expressions. They circulated their devil chi with all their might and poured it into this strange weapon. Each team controlled a magic tool with the aura of a magic tool. It was equivalent to 3 early core formation cultivators controlling their magic tools to attack. However, the black barrier they were attacking wasn't weak either. Every time it was attacked, it only dissipated a bit of black light. It didn't immediately shatter and was incomparably sturdy. It clearly surpassed the level of an early core formation cultivator's defense. As the black barrier's spiritual light dissipated, 7 figures could be faintly seen inside. There was also a corpse lying on the ground. At the center of the group was a woman with ordinary looks, but she emitted a strong charm. She was the only female cultivator among the blood-refining sect's foundation establishment blood devil, Shang Wanyu. However, at this moment, Shang Wanyu was bleeding from the corner of her mouth. Her face was pale, and her eyes revealed a complex expression of regret, despair, and disbelief. She clearly understood that under the siege of all the Seven Fiends sect disciples, even if this barrier could resist a mid-core formation cultivator, it wouldn't be able to last for long. What awaited them was only death. Outside the black barrier, not far from Shang Wanyu's group, there were 24 Yin-Yang sect disciples. These people were divided into groups of male and female disciples. Each group held a set of magic tools. When combined, they emitted the might of a pseudo-magic tool. A group of 24 people was equivalent to 12 pseudo-magic tools attacking at the same time. Although their power was far inferior to the Seven Fiends sects, they had the advantage in numbers and frequency of attacks. The black barrier's light was quickly dimmed, revealing the figures inside. Inside the barrier was Chun Fenghua's group. They were all at the peak of the Great Perfection realm, but there were only 6 of them. At this moment, They were using the secret technique that Elder Qian taught them half a year ago. It was able to resist the attacks of a mid-core formation cultivator's magic tool. Unfortunately, they could only passively defend. Facing the continuous attacks of 12 Peak Foundation establishment pseudo-magic tools, it was only a matter of time before they were defeated. The people inside, including Chun Fenghua, all revealed expressions of despair. Chun Fenghua and Shangwan, you didn't expect that the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect would team up as soon as they entered the secret realm. Moreover, what they didn't understand was how the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect managed to reach this central area so quickly. If Chun Fenghua hadn't met Shangwan Yu's group on the way and set off together, they would have been wiped out by the two sects in an instant. Boom! A huge explosion sounded. Shangwan Yu's team was the first to be unable to hold on. They had already lost one person from the very beginning. Furthermore, after the formation of the Seven Fiends sect, which was equivalent to 3 core formation stage cultivators taking turns to attack, the black barrier broke. Afterwards, Shangwan Yu's group couldn't do anything in the face of the 3 strange magic tools. They died at the hands of the Seven Fiends sect. Chapter 718. Just as Shangwan Yu was exterminated by the Seven Fiends sect, the surging energy within the Twin Peaks mountain seemed to have reached a critical point. Countless cracks appeared on the black rocks above the mountainside, and red light seeped out from them. In this incomparably dark secret realm, there was a dark red light. With the appearance of the cracks, the energy within could no longer be contained. Accompanied by a deafening explosion, the black rocks from halfway up the Twin Peaks mountain were all blasted apart. A large amount of black rocks shot out in all directions. At the same time, the ground near the Twin Peaks mountain began to shake violently, as if an earthquake had occurred in this area. Cracks appeared along with the shaking of the ground. Immediately after, a large amount of red lava crazily gushed out from the cracks in the ground near the peak of the Twin Peaks mountain. A large amount of black smoke accompanied by a strong smell of sulfur appeared. A large amount of lava spewed out as if it was free. The soil and vegetation on the ground were easily turned into black smoke, forming pools of lava near the Twin Peaks mountain. The lava spewed out from the Twin Peaks mountain was mixed with a lot of black rocks. Under the force of the lava eruption, a lot of rocks shot out 4 to 5 kilometers away from the Twin Peaks mountain. At this moment, within a radius of several kilometers, there were only people from the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect. 4 Great Circle Foundation establishment cultivators, their spiritual sense could extend up to 5 kilometers, so the changes in the Twin Peaks mountain were naturally discovered by them. Although they had previously observed the Twin Peaks mountain and discovered that it contained an astonishing amount of heat, they had not investigated it because they had to ambush the blood-refining sect members. They did not expect that this was a volcano that was about to erupt. Moreover, the eruption's power was incomparably shocking. Even from 5 kilometers away, they could still feel the terrifying heat and demonic fluctuations in the air. While their protective barrier was blocking the heat, the demonic power inside was actually slowly being consumed. It was clear that the lava spewed out from the Twin Peaks mountain was definitely some kind of terrifying demonic lava. Otherwise, it would not have given them such a feeling even from 5 kilometers away. When some rocks flew out from the Twin Peaks mountain, many disciples of the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect used their magic tools to block them. However, they discovered that their magic tools and even the magic treasures of the Seven Fiends sect did not shatter the rocks. For a moment, they turned pale with fright. What kind of rock is this? It actually did not shatter under the might of the Seven Fiends sect's magic treasures. Could it be some kind of top-grade material? It doesn't contain much force. The stone itself is very sturdy. That's not right. It contains pure and rich magic power. It's a magic stone. After the leader of the Seven Evils sect's group probed with his divine sense, he revealed a look of ecstasy. What? This is a magic stone? That's true. Magic stones are formed from ordinary rocks. They rely on the pure demonic chi within them to be so sturdy. As the demonic chi disappears, they will gradually return to being ordinary rocks. If a volcanic eruption can shoot out magic stones 5 miles away, then this Twin Peak Devil volcano must be a land of magic stones. While the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin Yang sect were analyzing the Twin Peaks mountain, their subordinates didn't slow down at all. They greedily grabbed the devil stones that were shot at them. Just as everyone discovered that the demon stones were attracted by the dual peak demonic volcano, inside the incomparably dim black shield, the 3 perfected foundation establishment disciples beside Chun Fenghua had resolute expressions on their faces. They withdrew the demonic power that had activated the shield. Seizing this opportunity, their bodies directly exploded, turning into streaks of bloody light that contained dense demonic power. This bloody light then enveloped Chun Fenghua and the other 2 disciples of the blood refining sect, forming a huge ball of blood. The Yin-Yang sect's disciples immediately regained their senses and were incomparably furious. Not good. The blood refining sect's people want to escape. Quickly stop them. The Yin-Yang sect's set of magic tools required full concentration to unleash the power of the pseudo-magic tools. The appearance of the magic stone previously distracted them, causing a flaw to appear in the encirclement of the pseudo-magic tools. This ball of blood can contaminate magic tools. Be careful. The ball of blood that enveloped Chun Fenghua and the other 2 had some kind of divine ability. Several pseudo-magic tools were unable to do anything to it. Instead, they were stuck to the bloody light, causing the pseudo-magic tools to split apart. As they trembled, they reverted back to being level 3 magic tools. After charging out of the encirclement of the pseudo-magic tools, the bloody light on the ball of blood trembled and its speed increased explosively. It was no different from a core formation cultivator. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared from everyone's sight. The Yin-Yang sect's disciples were led by a man and a woman. The man had a slender figure and an exceptionally handsome appearance. Many of the female cultivators of the Yin-Yang sect couldn't compare to him. The other woman had an enchanting figure and a face like a peach blossom. Her entire body emitted a fatal attraction. However, both of their expressions were extremely unsightly. The enchanting woman was unwilling to give up. Senior Marshal Brother, bye, the handsome man said in a deep voice. Don't chase. This secret technique isn't simple. It's an escape technique formed from the flesh and blood of 3 Great Circle Foundation establishment cultivators. Its speed and defense are comparable to a core formation cultivator's. I was careless. Chun Fenghua's group was made up of Chun clan disciples. Naturally, they were willing to die for him. Fortunately, 11 people from the blood refining sect have already fallen. Chun Fenghua's vitality has also been greatly damaged. Right now, the most important thing is the land of devil stones in the dual peak demonic volcano. We can't let the Seven Fiends sect take the lead. The handsome man surnamed Bai was actually very angry. Compared to the Seven Fiends sect, they didn't obtain any substantial gains from this battle. The 3 people who died committed suicide and didn't leave behind a single storage pouch. On the other hand, the Seven Fiends sect happily distributed the spoils of war from the 8 blood refining sect disciples. It had to be known that the most valuable item was the Blood Devil storage pouch. A strange voice drifted over from the Seven Fiends sect side. I say, Bai Yutong, Mei Feier, your Yin-Yang Gemini led more disciples than us. Furthermore, you were only dealing with a group of 6 people. You actually let them escape. The Yin-Yang sect is getting weaker by the day. The Seven Fiends sect's formation had already spread out. The handsome youth leading them approached with a smile that wasn't a smile. Bai Yutong coldly snorted. Fire Devil, our Yin-Yang sect doesn't need your guidance. If it weren't for our sect temporarily enslaving the Devil Eagle flock, how could your Seven Fiends sect have arrived here so quickly? The man called Fire Devil chuckled. That was an agreement between the elders of our 2 sections. Didn't you rely on your sect's secret technique to teleport to the same location as our Seven Fiends sect? Bai Yutong took a deep breath and said, Right now, almost half of the blood-refining sect people have been wiped out by us. However, Su Zihong is still alive. We still have to work together. Fire Devil didn't comment. Su Zihong is naturally our primary target. However, we should split up for this Twin Peak Devil volcano. Ha! And what's going on? Just as Fire Devil was laughing, a formless restriction power drifted out from the Twin Peak Devil volcano. The people of the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin sect all felt that the flying artifacts under their feet were somewhat unstable. It was as if they were being suppressed. Bai Yutong's expression changed greatly. Not good. It's a restriction power. We have to retreat. The disciples of the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin sect were all experienced. They clearly sensed that a new restriction was about to appear. Although only the restriction power had appeared, if other attacks or encirclement restrictions appeared, they would be in danger if they weren't prepared. Chapter 719. Just as the Twin Peak Demon Volcano erupted several hundred miles away, the demonic cultivators hurrying in this direction also discovered the changes occurring there. Although their divine sense couldn't reach that far, in this pitch-black secret realm, the red light of the volcano's magma shone high into the sky. Anyone who was flying in the air could see it. The blood-refining sects group flew quickly. At this moment, they were only 100 miles away from the Twin Peak demonic volcano. They witnessed the entire process of the sky turning from black to red. That's the place where the demonic chi converges. What happened to produce a red light? It seems to be some kind of flame. Could it be a land of fire? Or is it a volcano? I can faintly hear a roar. It's very likely a volcano is erupting. The blood-refining sect's demonic cultivators were very knowledgeable. They made a guess based on the situation in front of them. A golden light flashed across Lu Kuan's eyes. Then he expanded his spiritual sense forward. With the spiritual sense of a cultivator of the advanced stage of the completion level, even though he couldn't detect anything more than 100 miles away, he could still sense it from 40 to 50 miles away. He found that the air in the distance was filled with high temperature. Coupled with the outline of the red light in the distance, he determined that it was a volcano. As the flat moon flying ship approached, the air temperature gradually increased. The blood-refining sect group also smelled the smell of sulfur. It's really a volcano. It seems that the demonic chi riot in the secret realm was caused by the volcano in front. There's a volcano in the Yuan secret realm. Our sect doesn't have any records of it. With such a big movement, could there be some kind of treasure inside? While everyone was discussing, Lu Kuan frowned. His divine sense seemed to have sensed something. After a while, many Peak Foundation establishment demonic cultivators' faces changed. Not good. A demonic cultivator is approaching us. The blood-red light is too fast. It's definitely at the core formation realm. There seems to be the aura of 3 people inside. As they spoke, the other demonic cultivators also noticed the situation in the distance. They summoned their magic tools and assumed a battle stance. They looked towards the east of the volcano. A streak of blood-red light rapidly flew over from afar. Its speed was far beyond everyone's imagination. Soon, it arrived a few hundred feet away from the flying ship. The disciples of the blood-refining sect activated the magic tools in their hands and attacked without saying a word. Although the blood light was extremely fast, there was no aura of a core formation stage cultivator inside, so they naturally had to make the first move. Hold on. I'm the blood demon, Chun Fenghua. We're on the same side. A weak voice came from the blood-red light. It slowed down and stopped 1,000 feet away from the flying boat. The blood-red light outside also gradually dissipated. Su Zihong frowned and saw 3 rather embarrassed cultivators inside. They didn't use flying magic tools and stood in the air with a blood-red escape light. Their faces were indeed those of the blood-refining sect. Moreover, the one in the middle was the Blood Devil's son, Chun Fenghua, who was at the peak of the blood-refining sect. Everyone else looked surprised as they stared at Chun Fenghua's group from afar. Although they did not continue to attack, they did not withdraw their ritual implements either. Zhou Yu, are you crazy? Why are you still attacking? Chun Fenghua shouted when he saw one of the flying swords still attacking him. At the same time, he urged the remaining demonic power in his body to shoot out a small blood-red arrow to block the flying sword. Su Zihong saw this and breathed a sigh of relief. The blood demon arrow is indeed Senior Brother Chun. Everyone, withdraw your ritual implements. Seeing the others hesitate, Lu Kuan added, Don't worry, the demonic power of the blood demon art and the blood demon arrow can't be faked. It's really Senior Brother Chun Fenghua. When the people on the flying boat heard the two blood demons say so, they withdrew their weapons. However, when they saw Chun Fenghua's embarrassed appearance, they all thought of something and their faces turned ugly. At this time, Chun Fenghua was no longer the handsome and dandy. There was no trace of blood on his handsome face. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and there was still lingering fear in his eyes. He waved his hand, and the remaining bloodlight brought the other two into the flying boat. Then, they directly collapsed on the deck. Su Zihong walked forward and said with a heavy face, Senior Brother Chun, were you ambushed? Were the other three senior brothers in the team? Chun Fenghua swallowed a medicinal pill, and his complexion turned better. He cursed, Damn it, we were ambushed by the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin Yang sect. If the three clan brothers didn't self-detonate and let me use the blood demon sky evasion technique, we wouldn't have been able to escape. Su Zihong sucked in a breath of cold air. Blood demon evasion technique? Senior Brother Chen actually used this technique. How many people besieged you? Lu Kuan was also shocked. The blood demon sky evasion technique was a life-saving secret technique of the third level of the blood demon art. It could only be used by using the flesh and blood demonic power of 3 demonic cultivators above the late stage of the Foundation Establishment realm as the energy. In addition to the speed of the core formation realm, it also had a strong defensive power. It could at least resist the attack of a magic weapon in the early stage of the core formation realm. If the demonic cultivators sacrificed were of a higher cultivation level, it could even corrupt the magic weapon. Chun Fenghua used this technique, which meant that the enemies he faced were more powerful than ordinary early-stage core formation realm cultivators. Senior Brother Chun Fenghua calmed himself down and gritted his teeth. After the demonic Qi riot, our group flew towards the central area. We met Shangwan Yu's group on the way, so we teamed up. With the two groups working together, our speed was extremely fast, so we thought we were the first group to arrive at the central area. Then, Chun Fenghua said hatefully, I don't know what happened, but all the disciples of the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin Yang sect gathered outside the Twin Peaks mountain and ambushed us along the way. They heavily injured Shang Guan Yu's group in one move and then separated us. Although we had the 6 extreme demonic formation, we could only passively defend and couldn't fight back. Shangguan Yu's group was completely annihilated. If it wasn't for the sudden eruption of the Twin Peaks demonic volcano, we wouldn't have been able to escape. The surrounding blood-refining sect disciples heard this, and their faces turned ugly. The Seven Fiends sect and the Yin Yang sect? No way. Senior Sister Shangguan's group was completely annihilated. These two demonic sects actually joined forces so quickly. Could it be that their target is our blood-refining sect? Doesn't that mean that our blood-refining sect is only left with these people? Everyone knew that the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin Yang sect were clearly determined to deal with the blood-refining sect since the beginning of the secret realm and couldn't bear the losses of exploring the secret realm. Lu Kuan raised his eyebrows. Although the two sects wanted to deal with the blood-refining sect, it had nothing to do with him. At the same time, he could also take advantage of the chaos to leave the group. As long as he changed his appearance and pretended to be a rogue cultivator, he could freely plunder the items in the secret realm. But now that he encountered Chun Fenghua, who had narrowly escaped death, he had a headache. In his plan, Chun Fenghua was one of the ways to obtain the blood demonic arts core formation cultivation method. She couldn't die yet, but from the current situation, this group of blood-refining sect disciples was relatively dangerous. The Seven Fiends sect and the Yin Yang sect wanted to annihilate them. It's only been a few days in the secret realm. A year is still early. It's better for us to stay with the group for now. When we encounter the two sects, we can take advantage of the chaos to weaken their strength and prevent them from fighting. Ignoring Lu Kuan's thoughts, Chen Fenghua continued, "Actually, we are still safe for now. The Seven Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect won't chase after us for the time being." Su Zihong couldn't help but ask, "Why is that?" Chen Fenghua looked at the fiery red light in the distance and slowly said, "Not long ago, when the volcano erupted, it shot out a large amount of devil stones in all directions. It can be seen that the Twin Peak demonic volcano is a huge land of devil stones. The amount of devil stones stored inside is absolutely astonishing." Chapter 720. Land of Devil Stones. The eruption of the volcano spits out devil stones? When the blood-refining sect disciples heard the words devil stones, their eyes shone with greed. After all, their main mission was to collect devil stones. The more devil stones they collected, the more treasures they could exchange for. Su Zihong's eyes flashed when he heard Chen Fenghua's words. The Seven Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect are stronger than us. If they want to explore the volcano to collect devil stones, they will definitely split up. This way, there will be a group that will be left alone. We can launch a sneak attack. Chen Fenghua frowned. Junior Marshall Brother Su, you might not know this, but the two sects' methods are not simple. The Seven Fiends sect has 7 people in a group. After forming a square formation, they are equivalent to an early core formation cultivator using a magic artifact. As for the Yin-Yang sect, they have 2 people in a group. The magic artifacts they use are even stronger than ordinary magic artifacts. The Dual Peak demonic volcano is not big. If we can't kill them in one blow, their reinforcements will arrive soon. Aren't we just sending ourselves to our deaths? Su Zihong glanced at Bai Jie from the corner of his eye and smiled. Senior Marshal Brother Chun, don't worry. The elders in the sect have a backup plan. We can use the power of a core formation magic artifact for a short period of time. If we launch a sneak attack, it will definitely be effective. As long as we weaken the strength of either the Seven Fiends sect or the Yin-Yang sect, our goal will be achieved. If their strengths are not equal, there will be a gap in the cooperation between the two sections. Then, we will have more opportunities. Hearing Su Zihong's bold idea, the surrounding disciples discussed spiritedly. Counterattack? Junior Marshal Brother Su, you must be joking. What if the sneak attack fails and we are surrounded by the two sects? Yeah, the volcano in the distance can't be that big. If the other side returns quickly, we will be in danger. Core formation attack? Junior Marshal Brother Su, you must be joking. Only Lu Kuan, Bai Jie, and Fang Hao knew that Su Zihong was talking about Bai Jie. After using the blood coagulation technique on Bai Jie many times, Su Zihong and Lu Kuan no longer doubted that she could use the power of a core formation cultivator. Even if they knew that Bai Jie had the power of a core formation cultivator, Lu Kuan could not help but admire Su Zihong for being able to think of a counterattack. At this time, the others were only thinking about how to dodge. How could they think about counterattacking? Chen Fenghua's expression froze. He looked at Su Zihong seriously. The attack power of a core formation cultivator? Su Zihong nodded. That's right. He looked at the noisy crowd and continued. Previously, Senior Apprentice Brother Chen also said that the power of the 6 extreme, baleful demon formation that Elder Qian gave us is very strong. It is completely capable of defending against the combined attacks of any sect. Shang Guanyu and the others were killed because the team was separated. All the members of the team could barely hold up the demonic array. They didn't have enough strength to fight back, so they were killed one by one. Su Zihong glanced at the current team and said in a steady tone, "After knowing the enemy, our team is different. We could divide the work. Some of us will be in charge of defense, and some of us will be in charge of offense. Even if they surround us, we won't be afraid. Moreover, they will never expect us to counterattack." After hearing Su Zihong's words, everyone fell silent. A strange look appeared in Chun Fenghua's eyes. He clenched his fists and said with hatred, "I agree with Junior Apprentice Brother's suggestion. This is the first time I, Chun Fenghua, have suffered such a big loss. I definitely can't let this go." Lu Kuan also said, "Senior and Junior Apprentice Brothers, I can prove that Junior Apprentice Brother Su's core formation cultivator's method is correct. However, it's not convenient to reveal it now." "All right, since the 3 blood demons have spoken, then let's do it. Wealth comes from danger. The storage pouches of the disciples of the 2 demonic sects are the best. Who knows, there might be internal strife when they are collecting demonic stones. We can sit back and reap the benefits. Hee, I haven't caught any female cultivators along the way. I've long wanted to taste the women of the Yin Yang sect." Now, there were only 3 blood demons left in the blood refining sects team. All 3 of them agreed to do this. Even if some of them didn't agree, they didn't want to offend the blood demons at this time. Not to mention other things, the blood demons were the core of the 6 extreme demonic formation. Demonic cultivators were mercenaries. If they had the chance to kill the disciples of the 2 demonic sects, they naturally wouldn't let it go. Those who came here were the top disciples of the 7 Fiends sect and the Yin Yang sect. The disciples of the blood refining sect looked at their storage pouches and knew that the enemy's value wasn't low. After everyone had decided, they were assigned tasks. For example, in Zhang Yang's team, there were at least 6 people who were ready to activate the 6 extreme demonic formation at any time. The disciple with the strongest attack was responsible for attacking. The 4 with the strongest magic power were responsible for controlling the flying ship. The disciple with the strongest spiritual sense was responsible for scouting the surroundings. In this way, everyone sped up. After Chun Fenghua ate a healing pill, he took out a demonic stone to cultivate and speed up the recovery of his demonic power. After advancing for a while, Lu Kuan's core formation realm spiritual sense discovered something special about this place. He muttered in his heart, "The vicinity of the dual-peak demonic volcano is actually covered with restrictions. Even my spiritual sense is restricted." At first, the others didn't discover anything. But as they approached, the distant dual-peak demonic volcano became more and more blurry in their field of vision. The air became hotter and hotter, causing everyone on the flying ship to activate their demonic power barriers. When the flying ship was 10 miles away from the volcano, an inexplicable restriction fell on everyone. The flying ship seemed to lose control and began to sway. "Not good. There's an ambush." "Impossible. There's no cultivator within a few miles." "Damn it. It's a sky ceiling restriction. My spiritual sense is also restricted 2 to 3 miles away. There's a restriction here. Let's try another route." After a moment of panic, the disciples of the blood refining sect also discovered that there was a sky ceiling restriction and flew along it. In the end, they discovered that as long as they were within 10 miles of the volcano, there would be a sky ceiling restriction. The deeper their spiritual sense probed, the more difficult it would be. Clearly, the restriction here was also hindering their spiritual sense. In the end, everyone could only control the flying ship to land on the ground. Lu Kuan took the opportunity to put away the flying ship and asked curiously, "We didn't encounter any sky ceiling restriction in other places of the mystic realm. Why would it appear here?" Chun Fenghua was also bewildered. Previously, our group flew 5 miles away from the volcano and there was no restriction. Moreover, when the volcano erupted, I also successfully flew out. Could it be that the restriction appeared after the volcano erupted? Su Zihang pondered and said, "That's the only way. However, this is also beneficial to us. We can't fly, and the same goes for the 7 Fiend sect and the Yin Yang sect." Chun Fenghua shook her head and said, "You can't say that. Just now, we used our spiritual sense to probe. The deeper we go, the more severely our spiritual sense will be restricted. If the enemy ambushes us in the depths, it will be very dangerous." Lu Kuan smiled and said, "I say, everyone, haven't you noticed that the temperature here has risen by a lot? If an ordinary person were here, they would be roasted in a few breaths of time. We are only safe because of our magic barrier." Hearing this, Chun Fenghua seemed to have understood something. Lu Kuan continued. Obviously, the closer we are to the dual-peak demonic volcano, the higher the temperature and the greater the consumption of our magic barrier. If they are ambushing us in the depths, the consumption of magic is not worth it. Su Zihong clapped his hands and said, "That's right. In such an environment, we naturally have to hurry to the volcano to collect magic stones. We have to scatter the group and increase the speed of collecting magic stones." Chun Fenghua's eyes flashed with killing intent and said, "Then let them collect magic stones for us. We will wait outside the volcano." Next, everyone discussed for a while and divided the work again. They took out many fire-resistant magic tools they obtained from the Demon Flame sect's disciples to reduce their magic power consumption. Speaking of which, the Demon Flame sect's disciples were also unlucky. If they didn't encounter the blood-refining sect's disciples, their strength would have increased by the time they reached the dual-peak demonic volcano. Unfortunately, all of this benefited the blood-refining sect. Lu Kuan held several magic thunder talismans in his hand. Maintaining a magic barrier, he followed the group to the volcano. He looked around and was surprised. With his late core formation realm spiritual sense, after entering the secret realm, he could at most explore 10 miles away. Moreover, the dual-peak demonic volcano seemed to be the source of the restriction. His spiritual sense couldn't explore it and could only feel the terrifying heat of the volcano. As for magic stones, he also found many, but they were scattered around the volcano. Lu Kuan didn't care about them at all. In his opinion, since magic stones came from a volcano, then there must be a gathering place of magic stones in the dual-peak demonic volcano. Collecting magic stones, there would be the most efficient. Moreover, there was likely to be a restriction leading to the second floor. Lu Kuan only needed to wait for an opportunity to leave the group. The Seven Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect haven't entered the volcano yet? Chapter 721. Lu Kuan could clearly see with his divine sense that there were a total of 15 people in this group. There were 7 from the Seven Fiends sect and 8 from the Yin-Yang sect. They were all covered in demonic barriers and sweating profusely as they discussed how to obtain the devil stones in the lava pool. One of the Yin-Yang sect disciples said, "Everyone, this lava contains demonic chi, and its temperature is similar to the dual-peak demonic volcano. I'm afraid that only a core formation stage demonic barrier can withstand it. There are at least a few hundred devil stones inside. How are we going to collect them?" One of the Seven Fiends sect disciples said, "We don't need your Yin-Yang sect. We can use our secret technique and use the light of our artifacts to collect the devil stones." "All right, then your Seven Fiends sect can do it. The demonic chi consumption of the secret technique is not low. What we need now is efficiency. Our Yin-Yang sect won't wait for you to recover your demonic chi. Our sect's top-notch artifacts won't be affected by the lava for a short period of time. Our efficiency is much higher than yours. Our Seven Fiends sect can also display the power of a pseudo-artifact when 2 or 3 people work together." Lu Kuan listened for a while and understood why they didn't go to the demonic volcano. It was probably because the temperature inside the volcano was comparable to lava and required a core formation stage demonic barrier to withstand it. If they entered the volcano, they would have to work together to release a defensive barrier and stay for a longer time. But in this case, the speed of exploring the volcano would be greatly reduced. It would be better to collect all the devil stones near the volcano first, so that the demonic cultivators wouldn't be able to get any benefits. Therefore, they split up and collected the devil stones around the volcano. The dual-peak demonic volcano is covered by a seal, and my divine sense can't detect it. I didn't expect the temperature to be so high. Lu Kuan knew this and became even more eager to explore the volcano. He retracted his divine sense and looked at the direction the blood-refining sect's team was heading. According to the situation, the blood-refining sect would reach the dual-peak demonic volcano first. If they turned back after sensing the temperature, they might encounter the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect's team. In a battle, the disciples of the blood-refining sect would definitely let him release the 6 extreme, baleful demon array first. As the one in charge of the defensive array, unless the array was broken, there would be no chance for him to escape. Once the 6 extreme, baleful demon array was broken, it would mean that the disciples of the blood-refining sect were finished. After the secret realm ended, Lu Kuan still had to continue hiding in the blood-refining sect. Therefore, he had to create an opportunity to leave the team without arousing suspicion. Lu Kuan pondered for a moment, glanced at the surrounding environment, and suddenly said, "Everyone besides us, there are many rogue cultivator teams behind us. If we go deeper and get ambushed by others, it will be troublesome." The others frowned when they heard this. Although the fiendish cultivators of the West State aren't very powerful, there are many of them. If they have the same thoughts as us, it will indeed be troublesome. You're right. The upcoming battle is unpredictable. I don't want to be taken advantage of by those guys from the Western region. It would be safer to leave a mana imprint. But if the mark is discovered by others, they will discover our path instead. As Lu Kuan listened to the spirited discussions of the crowd, he revealed a complacent expression and said, "In recent years, I have comprehended a type of demonic thunder imprint from the true demonic imperial lightning art. It can be used as a landmark. The demonic thunder imprint is very secretive. Unless one is also proficient in the demonic thunder art, it will be difficult to discover it with the false core stage's spiritual sense. It will be better to let this Zhang set up the imprint." Everyone showed a look of disbelief when they heard this. However, a strange light flashed in Suzy Hong's eyes. He slowly said, "Then Big Brother Zhang will set it up so that the false core stage senior brothers can check it out." Lu Kuan laughed heartily and walked to the end of the line. His body flashed with extremely pure magic power. At the same time, the blood magic power in his blood also faintly seeped out of his body. Then, an incomparably pitch-black lightning enveloped his body, emitting crackling sounds. Huh? What kind of demonic thunder art is this? The lightning blocked my spiritual sense. My spiritual sense is also blocked. The disciples of the blood-refining sect who were staring at Lu Kuan were amazed. Although they didn't forcibly urge their spiritual sense to probe Lu Kuan, just by looking at the lightning, they knew that this divine ability wasn't simple. After about 10 breaths of time, the lightning on Lu Kuan's body gradually dissipated. His face was slightly pale, as if casting the divine ability, just now, was very strenuous. After spitting out a mouthful of turbid air, Lu Kuan proudly said, "Senior brothers, I have already released the demonic thunder imprint under my feet. I wonder if you can see anything strange?" Hearing Lu Kuan's words, the disciples of the blood-refining sect, especially those who had false core stage spiritual sense, spread out their spiritual sense and probed the ground under their feet for a long time, revealing a look of suspicion. In their spiritual sense, they couldn't see anything strange on the ground under their feet except for mud and stones. They all thought that Zhang Yang didn't release the demonic thunder imprint and was deliberately playing tricks on them. Lu Kuan chuckled and snapped his fingers. From the mud under his feet, a trace of black lightning appeared out of thin air. This time, everyone was shocked, especially Chan Fenghua and the other 2 false core stage disciples in his team. Like the previous people, they didn't put this early foundation establishment stage blood devil in their eyes. Who would have thought that he would have such a method? Didn't that mean that Zhang Yang could leave a mark on them without being discovered? This was a top-level tracking secret technique. Haha, this Zhang has made a fool of himself. Lu Kuan saw everyone's expression and said without any modesty, "Junior Brother Zhang has a good method. With Junior Brother's imprint, we can rest assured in the rear. It will be much safer when we retreat." Under the compliments of many people, the team continued to move forward. After the group of blood-refining sect left, Lu Kuan's spiritual sense once again covered the ground where the demonic thunder imprint was placed. "Xiaojin, you can come out now. With my spiritual sense covering you, they can't find you." Following Lu Kuan's spiritual sense transmission, the mud on the ground trembled. Then, a medium-sized gap appeared, and a spirit beast pouch wrapped in black lightning appeared. With a flash of yellow light, a little monkey with yellow hair and no aura appeared on the ground. It was Xiao Jin, who was brought to the state of Qi by Lu Kuan. With Lu Kuan's spiritual sense at the late core formation stage, even if he put down the spirit beast pouch in front of everyone, no one would discover it. Ji. As soon as the little monkey came out, it felt the rich devil qi in the air. It waved its hands excitedly, and a rich devil qi was emitted from its body, resonating with the surrounding devil qi. After such a long time, the devil qi in Xiao Jin's body had reached the level of a third-grade demonic beast. Xiao Jin, I didn't expect that with the help of the devil stone, you would be able to cultivate devil qi into your bone marrow so quickly, causing devil qi to appear in your blood. Lu Kuan's divine sense revealed a joyful expression. His judgment was not wrong. Little Monkey's current physical body realm was very suitable for him to cultivate the body, refining demonic technique he had created step by step. He was afraid that after a period of time, he would be able to cultivate the internal demonic power. When Xiao Jin heard Lu Kuan's praise, it clenched its fists and patted its chest. It was extremely proud of itself. Okay, don't do it. Xiao Jin, your devil qi level is not high, but your physical body is strong and your running speed is extremely fast. In this forbidden sky restriction, ordinary foundation establishment devil cultivators will not be able to catch you. Moreover, anyone who enters the forbidden area of the volcano will not be able to hide from your spiritual ears. Next, you need to. When the little monkey heard Lu Kuan's spiritual sense transmission, its face gradually revealed an excited expression. After Lu Kuan finished speaking, it took out a few talismans from the bottom of the spirit beast pouch and swallowed them. It then swallowed them. Chapter 722. In the northeast region of the Dual Peak demonic volcano, a group of 20 or so demonic cultivators from the West Prefecture was advancing cautiously. Most of the people in the group were looking around with vigilance in their eyes. They were like rabbits that had sneaked out of the grasslands to hunt for food, ready to be attacked by eagles and wolves at any time. Duan was one of the demonic cultivators. His skin was dark, and his appearance was unremarkable. He walked at the back of the group with a late-stage foundation establishment cultivation. Duan was a low-key person. Others only knew that he was a rogue cultivator sent by the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. He usually buried himself in cultivation and rarely showed his face. However, only Duan knew that he was a disciple of the Sacred Poison sect. His face was disguised with a special kind of medicine. The Sacred Poison sect was considered a semi-hidden sect in the West Prefecture of the state of Qi. Their disciples rarely showed themselves outside. Because of the opening of the Yuan secret realm, they had arranged for 3 disciples who were at the Great Circle of Foundation establishment to appear. However, Duan was not one of the 3 disciples. He was an ordinary disciple of the Sacred Poison sect with mediocre aptitude. Because his spiritual root aptitude was not high, not only was he unable to cultivate the sect's poison refining techniques, but his cultivation technique was also an ordinary demonic cultivation technique. Apart from the fact that it was easier for him to break through, his combat strength was much weaker than ordinary demonic cultivation techniques. The heavens were fair. Although Duan's aptitude was extremely poor, his luck was heaven-defying. He had entered the foundation establishment stage with a single foundation establishment pill. In addition, he had also obtained the poison refining inheritance of a senior from the Sacred Poison sect in a barren cave near the sect. One must know that the Holy Poison sect's poison refinement technique required a large amount of contribution points and a high aptitude before it could be imparted. Despite having just entered foundation establishment, Duan, who was poor, seemed to have struck the jackpot and obtained the poison refinement inheritance for free. Later on, Duan discovered that he had an extraordinary talent in refining poisonous pills and elixirs. Relying on the poison refining inheritance, he had secretly cultivated the poison refining art to an extremely high level. Furthermore, he had also learned many strange pill refining methods. If it weren't for the limitation of his cultivation, he would have been able to refine even more powerful poisons. Even so, Duin did not dare to reveal his talent in refining poison. If the core formation demonic cultivators in the sect found out, they would definitely suspect the origin of his poison refining techniques. Then, he would be in danger. He was very clear about the cruelty of the sacred poison sect. Therefore, the cautious Duin basically cultivated in the outside world. He used some of the special medicines he refined to exchange for a lot of cultivation resources, which allowed him to enter his current realm. In the holy poison sect, he had relied on a kind of magic concealment medicine left behind by that senior to barely conceal his true cultivation. As for the spot to enter the Yuan secret realm, Duin had paid a huge price and even paid the senior's legacy poison to get it from the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. His purpose was to find a few special devil grasses and find a way to resolve the heart-devouring poison that the sacred poison sect had planted in his body. As long as he could resolve this poison, he, Duin, would be able to completely break free from the sacred poison sect. With the inheritance he had obtained, he might even be able to reach the core formation stage. Duin's small eyes looked around. While observing the forbidden area of the volcano, he shook his trousers quietly. Countless colorless and odorless powders slowly drifted to the surroundings and merged into the flowing demon chi. Before Duin came to the secret realm, he had made ample preparations. The powders he shook out from his trousers were called essence fusing demon powder. It was a medicinal powder developed by the senior of the sacred poison sect based on a tracking ability of the devil Tao. This powder could smoothly merge into the demon chi. As long as the demon chi was flowing, it could continue to spread into the distance. Demonic beasts or cultivators with devil chi in their bodies would be contaminated by this powder after coming into contact with the demon chi. Even if a foundation establishment stage cultivator discovered the demon powder, it would be very difficult to remove it. After Duin took the corresponding medicinal pill, he could sense the movements of anyone who came into contact with the essence fusing demon powder within a range of 7 to 8 miles. It was almost close to the magical ability of a core formation stage cultivator. Unfortunately, the essence fusing demon powder could only last for a day, and the materials were expensive. After so many years, Duin had only refined half a caddy of it. Although the essence fusing demon powder was rare, it was extremely effective in this place where the spiritual sense was restricted. He didn't hesitate to use it all. The demon chi flowing in the direction of the volcano could help him explore the forbidden area. As the demon powder spread, he could almost sense a fan-shaped area of 7 to 8 miles in front of him. In this fan-shaped area, where the demon powder failed to sense, there was either a special restriction or a terrifying temperature. Suddenly, Duin raised his eyebrows. He sensed a guy stained with demon powder about 8 miles in front of him to his right. Under the detection of the secret technique, this guy seemed to be running at a fast speed. When that guy ran another 2 miles, Duin was surprised to find that when this unknown creature was running, it was adjusting its direction according to their position. Obviously, it had already sensed their existence. Duin analyzed in his heart. With such a fast speed, it's most likely a demonic beast. In the secret realm, only demonic beasts would move alone, while demon cultivators move in groups. In the first layer of the secret realm, there are at most 4th-rank demonic beasts. With so many people on my team, it would be suicide for it to come over. But why can it sense us from 10 miles away? Just as this thought emerged in Duin's mind, his pupils suddenly shrank as if he had discovered something. His body trembled slightly, and he took out a medicinal pill and threw it into his mouth. Duin, what's wrong? The rogue cultivator who was walking at the back of the team with him noticed Duin's action and asked curiously. Duin showed a bit of self-mockery and said, "It's nothing. It's just that the surrounding temperature is getting higher and higher. So I threw a recovery medicinal pill in my mouth just in case. My cultivation method is average, so my recovery ability is mediocre." When the rogue cultivator heard this, he showed some agreement and also took out a recovery medicinal pill and put it in his mouth. As for the others, they were basically the elite disciples of the 5 sects and 3 clans, and their magic power was pure. They did not pay attention to the actions of these 2 rogue cultivators. Dugan's expression did not change, and he continued to move forward with the team, but he was on tenterhooks. This was because he found that there were 15 demon cultivators following behind the demonic beast about 2 miles away. It seemed like a group of demon cultivators was chasing after the demonic beast, but at the same time, he found that there was a team of more than 20 people 8 miles in front of him to his left. Although the speed of this team of more than 20 people was not fast, the demon cultivators of the West Continent were completely sandwiched in such a fan-shaped area. Such a scene made Duan faintly smell the aura of death. The medicinal pill that he had just swallowed was not for recovery, but a type of medicinal pill that could conceal magic power fluctuations. It was used together with an intermediate-level, high-rank invisibility talisman. Even a core formation cultivator would miss it if they were not paying attention. For miles, 1.5 miles, Duan silently sensed the location of the demonic beast, and his eyes unconsciously narrowed. There were demon cultivators in their team who were at the great circle of Foundation establishment. Even if the divine sense here was not small, they could still detect 2 to 3 miles away. Sure enough, after a while, the demon cultivator at the front of the team stopped and said in a deep voice, "Everyone be careful. There's something on the right in front." Many demon cultivators focused their attention to investigate, and a strange expression appeared on their faces. It seems like a demon monkey is running. Its magic power aura is very weak. Wait, why is this monkey hugging a big black stone? It's also holding a storage bag in its mouth. No, that big stone is a magic stone. What a magic stone! Hearing about magic stones and storage bags, the others released their divine sense and impatiently probed in that direction. At that moment, no one noticed that Du-An's aura at the back of the team had become faintly discernible. His entire person had disappeared on the spot, and there were no fluctuations. It's fine if the demon monkey is hugging a magic stone, but why is it holding a storage bag in its mouth? Didn't they say that demonic beast's intelligence is chaotic? Unless there's something on the storage bag that's attracting it. The eyes of all the demon cultivators in the West Continent shone with greed. What attracted demonic beasts was naturally the pure demonic chi. This meant that there was very likely a large number of magic stones in that storage bag. Hey, there's someone chasing after the demon monkey. A group of immortal cultivators suddenly appeared at the limit of their divine sense. Oh no, it's the 7 Kills sect and the Yin-Yang sect. Damn it, why are these 2 demon sects together? We're no match for them at all. Who said so? We have an absolute advantage in numbers. They've also discovered us. Hey, their target is that demon monkey. Although they saw the disciples of the 2 demon sects, the West Continent demon cultivators did not leave. Instead, many of them cast a light body technique on themselves and rushed in the direction of the demon monkey. Under the probing of their divine sense, they easily discovered that this demonic beast was only at the level 3 standard. Relying on the speed of a demonic beast's physical body, it was barely able to maintain a distance from the 2 demon sect's disciples. The demon monkey was hugging a magic stone and had a storage bag in its mouth. A group of demon cultivators was chasing after it. The West Continent demon cultivators logically deduced that the demon monkey was attracted by the magic stone. It had used some unknown method to snatch the magic stone from the hands of the 2 demon sects. It had also conveniently snatched the storage bag filled with magic stones. At that moment, the demon monkey was less than a mile away from them, while the group from the 7 Fiends sect was more than a mile away. One had to know that under the existence of the air restriction, Foundation establishment cultivators could only cast a light body technique on themselves and rely on their legs to run. The speed of the 2 demon sects disciples might not necessarily be faster than the West Continent demon cultivators. Chapter 723. Duan, who had completely concealed his aura, was hiding behind a hot rock. He shook his head as he watched the demonic cultivators from the West Continent rush toward the devil monkey. The demonic cultivators from the West Continent are really scattered. Under the temptation of the Devil Stone, the originally fragile alliance agreement was immediately thrown to the back of their minds. Everyone wants to get the Devil Stone as soon as possible. Doohan laughed at himself. Let's not talk about them. If I hadn't discovered the third group, I might have joined in. After all, the Seven Fiend sect is very far away and their threat is limited. This devil monkey is actually so agile. In just a short while, the demonic cultivators from the West Continent, who were supported by the light body technique, had already approached the devil monkey. The three people at the front could not wait to activate their Dharma artifacts in an attempt to capture the weak devil monkey. However, who knew that the seemingly weak monkey was extremely agile? It moved between the three Dharma artifacts, dodged 2 attacks, and used the Devil Stone to block the attack. The Devil Stone's material was extremely high. With the attack power of a Foundation Establishment demonic cultivator, it was impossible to break it as long as there was still pure demonic chi inside. Being unable to break it did not mean that the attack power could be completely blocked. The 3 perfected Foundation Establishment demonic cultivators were experienced in battle. In the second round of attacks, the 3 Dharma artifacts bombarded the Devil Stone in the Devil Monkey's arms. After the Devil Stone blocked part of the combined attack of the 3 fake core demonic cultivators, the remaining power spread to the Devil Monkey. Squeak! The little Devil Monkey let out a shrill cry, as if it had been severely injured. Then it was sent flying. The Devil Stone, which was as big as its body, fell out of its hands. However, its hands clutched tightly to its storage bag. The perfected Foundation Establishment demonic cultivator at the front of the West Continent was a skinny middle-aged man. The moment the Devil Monkey was hit, he activated a secret technique. His entire body turned into a black light, and his speed increased rapidly. In an instant, he was near the big Devil Stone. A demonic light shot out from his hand, and he was about to put it into his storage bag. Sue Brat, don't even think about it. The second fastest person was a white-haired old man. He had already held a few talismans in his hand and activated them. He immediately activated it. Talisman? They turned into several purple lightning bolts and shot forward like lightning. The lightning that restrained demonic power directly cut off the middle-aged man's demonic light. Old man, yeah, you're crazy. You're attacking me. The middle-aged man turned around and revealed a sinister expression. Old Man Ye's obstruction had caused the demonic cultivators behind him to catch up. Several Dharma treasures shot toward Devil Stone, forcing him to retreat in a sorry state. There were only 7 or 8 people fighting for this huge magic stone. Most of them continued to rush towards the devil monkey that had been sent flying. The devil monkey seemed to be severely injured, but it was still alive. It used all 4 of its limbs to escape. The devil monkey fled in the direction of the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect. They were already 1 li away. Those guys from the western region are courting death. For a cultivator at the peak of the Foundation Establishment stage, a distance of 1 mile was not considered too far. It was barely enough to activate a magic weapon to attack. Hence, as the 2 Devil Sect disciples ran at full speed, they took out their respective Dharma artifacts. They split into 2 groups, and several attacks with power close to that of a pseudo-Dharma artifact accelerated towards the Devil Monkey's Devil Cultivators. The remaining magic tools formed a semicircle and surrounded the Devil Monkey. The Devil Monkey let out an unwilling cry, and its eyes turned red. With its path blocked, it could only turn back and try its best to escape through the gap in the Dharma artifact semicircle. Unexpectedly, the Yin-Yang sect disciples' fused longsword did not attack the devil cultivators from the western region. Instead, it drew an arc and shot toward the devil monkey. The little devil monkey did not expect this at all. It was directly hit in the shoulder by the magic tool that had the power of a pseudo-Dharma artifact. It spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying dozens of feet away. It fell to the ground like a dead fish. Its aura became faint, but its storage bag was still tightly clutched in its hand. After the two devil sect disciples took the devil monkey by surprise, the devil cultivators from the western region blocked their weapons. In a situation where they were far away, the attack speed of their magic tools was much slower than the devil cultivators from the western region. Not far away, Duin, who was watching the chaotic battle, suddenly frowned. He discovered a special existence in a group of devil cultivators who were fighting. It was the lone cultivator who was at the back of the group with him. Although this lone cultivator had also cast the lighten spell on himself, he was still at the back of the group. He was controlling his magic tool somewhat absent-mindedly. His movements were also a little strange. His left hand was holding a bracelet on his right hand, and there was a faint glow of magic power flickering on it. In Duin's eyes, this lone cultivator did not fit in with the others. The group on the left is about to arrive. It's safer for me to stay away from the battlefield. Duin's eyes turned. He took a step forward and avoided the three groups area. He sneaked into the depths of the forbidden area. In his opinion, the three groups would definitely engage in a chaotic battle. This was the best time for him to enter the central volcano alone. Even if the battle ended quickly, these people would be stained with his demonic elemental melting powder. He would be able to sense their location. He only needed to pay attention to the dangers of the forbidden area. Duin felt the heat in the air and the fluctuations of the battle. He felt a little regretful. Damn the heat. Most of my poisons are useless. Also, the devil cultivators who entered this place have to maintain their magic shields at all times. I only have one poison that can penetrate the magic shields. If I catch them off guard, I can only kill one or two people in the forbidden area. I can't poison an entire group secretly. Forget it. I should see if there are any precious treasures inside. Then, I'll leave the forbidden area as soon as possible. I'll use the demonic powder to sense those who survive the chaotic battle. After making a series of plans in his mind, Duin's footsteps became lighter and lighter. The disciples of the Seven Kills sect and the Yin Yang sect looked at the dying devil monkey lying on the ground in the distance. They gritted their teeth in hatred. However, they had to stop the devil cultivators from the West Continent from using their magic tools to attack the monkey. Previously, the two sects had taken turns to use their combined magic tools to fish out magic stones from the lava pool. Who knew that there would be thousands of magic stones? They were all very excited. However, when they were discussing how to distribute the magic stones and were about to use their storage bags to store them, the devil monkey appeared out of thin air beside the magic stones. It was as if it had jumped out of the magic stones. Before they could react, the devil monkey had snatched away their storage pouches. It had even used the storage pouches to store all the magic stones inside, leaving only the big magic stone in its arms. Then, the devil monkey displayed astonishing agility. It used the big magic stone as a shield and dodged a wave of attacks from the crowd. Then, it seemed to have used a magical power and escaped at a terrifying speed. Thousands of magic stones were stolen by third-grade magic beast. The disciples of the two devil sects were so angry that their faces turned green. They immediately joined forces and chased after the devil monkey. Fortunately, the devil monkey's magic power was not high. They gradually closed the distance between them. In the end, they encountered the group from the West Continent. Due to the distance, the devil cultivators from the West Continent made up for the difference in strength and blocked their attacks. Even though the two devil sect disciples were getting closer and closer, they were still evenly matched. The devil cultivators from the West Continent were not stupid. After they calmed down, they joined forces with their sects and families. They used their early advantage to separate the opponent's magic tools and prevent them from using their secret techniques. If the seven people from a Seven Evils sect joined forces and used their most powerful secret technique, they would be able to easily defeat the opponent. However, the seven of them had used up a lot of their magic power to fish out magic stones. If they used their full strength now, the Yin Yang sect would benefit from it. Moreover, even if they did not use their most powerful secret techniques, they were not afraid of the devil cultivators from the West Continent. Moreover, They had already sent a message to their fellow sect members. Reinforcements would arrive soon. It was safer to waste time. The 8 people from the Yin-Yang sect had the same idea. Therefore, the battle entered a stalemate. The 20 or so devil cultivators from the West Continent used all their strength and were evenly matched with the 15 disciples from the 2 devil sects. Just as the battle was in a stalemate, a woman's painful scream suddenly came from 2 miles away. This scream seemed to carry a strong magic wave and was instantly transmitted to the battlefield. Chapter 724. Duin, who was about a mile away from the battlefield, sensed the terrifying power of the black saber light. His face was filled with fear, and he continued to run forward without looking back. This pressure is definitely at the level of a core formation stage magic treasure. This is the attack of the 3rd team. Duin didn't dare to release his divine sense and could only speed up. This kind of battle was beyond his imagination. The further he was, the safer he was. He didn't have any means to resist the power of a core formation stage magic treasure. The demonic chi in front of him was filled with demonic essence fusing demonic powder. Duin only needed to avoid the areas where the powder disappeared. Although he was getting further and further away from the battlefield, the fluctuations of the battle were even more intense. It was the core formation stage magic treasure that was wantonly killing the demonic cultivators. The difference between the foundation establishment stage and the core formation stage was like heaven and earth. Even if the demonic cultivators of the 7 Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect had some joint life-saving magic treasures, they wouldn't be able to use it in time under the sneak attack of a core formation stage magic treasure. Fortunately, these people are contaminated with the demonic essence fusing demonic powder. As long as I remain vigilant, I won't be in too much danger. Thinking of this, Duin took out a demonic powder sensing pill from his sleeve and swallowed it to deepen his senses. The 3rd team of demonic cultivators is approaching the main battlefield. Among the disciples of the 7 Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect, 4 of them have lost their demonic powder. They should have just been killed. This team must be the disciples of the blood refining sect. None of the demonic cultivators of the West Prefecture died. Most of them escaped from the forbidden area. Duin roughly understood what happened on the battlefield through his sensing of the demonic powder. The 7 Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect had joined forces to deal with the blood refining sect, the number 1 demonic sect in the state of Qi. The blood refining sect wasn't weak either. When they saw the 2 demonic sects fighting with the demonic cultivators of the West Prefecture, they immediately used their trump card to launch a sneak attack. After a few people died, the 2 demonic sects couldn't use their joint spells smoothly. In addition, they had used up a lot of demonic power. The result of the battle was needless to say. The blood refining sect would definitely win. As for the demonic cultivators of the West Prefecture, they were already scared out of their wits. They used various methods to escape, but the blood refining sect didn't waste their demonic power on them. That demonic monkey actually didn't die? Duin's pupil shrank. He suddenly sensed that the devil monkey's magic powder was still there, indicating that there was still active magic power in its body. He clearly remembered that this level 3 devil monkey was first hit by the joint attack of 3 false core devil cultivators from the Western Prefecture. Then, it was sent flying by a set of artifacts with the power of a false Dharma treasure. He's still alive? Even if it's a magical beast of the 4th rank, it would be severely injured if not dead. Could this devil monkey be a top-tier, mutated magical beast? Somehow, Duin felt a little uneasy in his heart. At this moment, within the sensing range of his demonic energy fusing powder, another group of immortal cultivators suddenly appeared. There were a total of 15 of them, and they were rushing over from the other side of the volcano towards the battlefield where the chaotic battle was still taking place. As for the aura of the core formation magic treasure that appeared earlier, it also began to weaken. It was just a flash in the pan. 15 people. That's the same number as the 2 demonic sects just now. They should be reinforcements from the 7 Evils sect and the Yin-Yang sect. If that's the case, the strength of both sides seems to be about the same. It's very likely that both sides will suffer heavy losses. Thinking of this, Duin suddenly stopped in his tracks and looked at the scene in front of him with a surprised expression. In front of him was a long and narrow lava river. It was about 7 feet wide and close to 100 feet long. The lava emitted a thick black smoke, and a strong sulfuric poisonous gas filled the air. Duin didn't look at the lava. Instead, he stared at a natural rock above the lava river. This rock was 7 feet long and 5 feet wide. It was gray in color and didn't seem to have any luster. It was just right above the lava, forming a rock bridge that could be crossed. The rock bridge was a little out of place with the surroundings because the air above it wasn't distorted at all. This meant that the temperature was not high. To be able to maintain a normal temperature in this terrifyingly hot lava, this rock bridge was definitely a top-tier material. Duin slowly walked towards the rock bridge. His divine sense penetrated his body and scanned the gray rock. Then, he helplessly shook his head. He specialized in the art of refining poisons and medicine, so he couldn't tell what kind of material it was. Then, he hesitated for a moment and stepped onto it. Feeling the temperature under his feet, Duin's eyes bloomed with ecstasy. Sure enough, as he judged, the temperature of the gray rock was extremely low. It was even cooler than the air. This rock bridge was completely prepared for me. Without the scorching air, my precious poison can stay on it for a long time. No matter who wins in the later battles, they will eventually go to the depths of the volcano. When they pass by here, they will definitely notice the strangeness of the rock bridge. The rock bridge is connected to the lava. Foundation establishment stage cultivators shouldn't be able to take it away, but they will definitely pass by the rock bridge. After all, it is too dangerous to pass by the lava. Not to mention the terrifying temperature. The sulfuric black smoke is also a natural poison. I only need to arrange the poison on the bridge, and the people who pass by here will all be poisoned. Then, Duin's expression became serious. A yellow oilcloth appeared in his hand. This oilcloth was square and half the size of a palm. It seemed to be wrapped in something. He pressed his hands tightly against the oilcloth and carefully pulled it open, revealing a square of transparent ointment inside. Looking at the ointment that didn't have any aura, Duin's eyes flashed with a trace of pain. He bent down and pinched a section of the ointment through the oilcloth. Then he exposed the other end and smeared it on the surface of the gray rock bridge. The middle part of the bridge was brushed on both sides. After he finished smearing it, the transparent ointment in the oilcloth was only the size of a thumb. The marrow-devouring ointment is the best poison I can currently refine. If it wasn't for the Monolith City auction, I wouldn't have been able to collect all the refining materials. Duin's eyes revealed confidence. As long as a demonic cultivator below the core formation stage touches the marrow-devouring ointment, the poison will penetrate it and seep into the cultivator's body. In the time it takes to drink a cup of tea, it will enter the bones. After entering the bones, the intense poison will completely corrode the bones within 30 breaths of time, destroying the cultivator's fleshly body. One of the ingredients for the marrow-devouring ointment is the demonic essence melting powder. Demonic power is unable to stop this poison. It is a good item specially made to deal with demonic cultivators. The only way to get rid of it is to use the 5 elements Dharma spells. However, which of these demonic cultivators have the 5 elements Dharma powers in their bodies? How would he dare to attack his own fragile body? After Duin finished applying the ointment, he came to the other side of the magma river. He put away the rest of the ointment and walked behind a stone. He took out a magic recovery pill and swallowed it. This place was only 3 miles away from the volcano, and the temperature was extremely high. With Duin's cultivation, he had consumed a lot of his demonic chi, so he had to restore his demonic chi. At this time, 3 or 4 miles away, the disciples of the 2 major devil sects who had rushed over to support the blood-refining sect were engaged in a fierce battle with the blood-refining sect's team. 2 powerful auras soared into the sky. It was obvious that 2 core formation stage auras had appeared in the battlefield. The battle had entered its climax. Duin calmly recovered his demonic chi. At the same time, he could sense the situation of the battle through the demonic essence fusing powder. Of the two major devil sects disciples who had fought with the Western Province at the beginning, he could only sense the aura of 4 of them. Obviously, the other 11 had been killed by the blood-refining sect's sneak attack at the beginning. As the battle progressed, the aura of the core formation stage gradually dissipated. This kind of top-secret technique had a time limit. As for the 19 people from the blood-refining sect, due and since that 2 of them had lost their demonic essence fusing powder. As for the reinforcements from the 7 Fiend sect and the Yin-Yang sect, 4 of them had fallen. I didn't expect the blood-refining sect's disciples to be so fierce. They only lost 2 people, but they managed to kill 15 people in total. Another team of 15 people is coming. It seems like the 7 Fiend sect and the Yin-Yang sect have truly joined hands. The blood-refining sect's people have consumed a lot of their demonic chi. They're going to die this time. Duen sensed something again and raised his eyebrows. What's the situation? The blood-refining sect's people are retreating in all directions. Could it be that they have a detection ability that allows them to sense the enemy's approach from 7 or 8 miles away? The Yin-Yang sect and the 7 Fiend sect should have discovered the reinforcements and started to chase after the blood-refining sect's disciples. The demonic essence fusing powder is a bit messy. I can't tell which force it is. There are 4 guys running in my direction. Chapter 725. Damn it, this Zhang Yang of the blood-refining sect is only at the early stage of Foundation establishment. Why does he still have energy left? In the previous battle, the formation he controlled was destroyed. Logically speaking, he should have exhausted all his demonic energy. A handsome middle-aged man with a tall and sturdy figure was running as he spoke with annoyance. Beside him was a charming woman with thin black hair. She greedily looked at the running Zhang Yang and the faint demonic energy barrier around him. She licked her lips and said, "That's the blood-refining sect's blood-refining sect. That's the blood devil master of the blood-refining sect. His demonic energy is naturally much deeper than others of the same level. However, I think he's about to run out of oil. This old lady can finally taste the blood devil master. Zhang Yang's body looks so strong." The middle-aged man coldly snorted and said, "You slut, since you want his body, I want at least 70% of the things in his storage bag." The charming woman cast another lightened technique on herself and said, "My good big brother, if your little sister benefits and improves her cultivation as her Tao companion, won't you also benefit as well?" He just captured the heavily injured devil monkey. The storage bag full of demonic stones is also in his hands. Big brother wants 70%? That's too cheap. The middle-aged man was about to say something when he suddenly revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. Zhang Yang stopped. So there's a lava river in front of him. His demonic energy barrier is so weak that he can't get close. The charming woman was also pleasantly surprised. Seeing this scene, she and the middle-aged man tacitly summoned 2 whip magic tools and attacked Zhang Yang, who was dozens of feet away. At this time, Zhang Yang turned around and looked at the 2 magic tools indifferently. The demonic energy barrier around his body seemed to be unable to withstand the high temperature and dissipated. However, the black robe on his body seemed to be made of excellent material. It wasn't destroyed by the high temperature. The man and woman from the Yin-Yang sect couldn't help but panic when they saw Zhang Yang's indifferent expression. The 2 immediately used a secret technique and combined their magic tools into one, forming a pseudo-magic tool whip that was dozens of feet long. On the other hand, 2 black stones appeared in Zhang Yang's hands. They emitted dense demonic energy. Then, he shook his wrists and the sound of the air being torn apart could be heard. The black stones were like 2 top-grade magic tools. They drew a black trajectory and blasted towards the man and woman like lightning. Not good. Self-detonating magic tools. The middle-aged man's expression changed. Although the stones looked no different from demonic stones, they were self-detonating magic tools. That was what the charming woman thought as well. She and the middle-aged man continued to control the whip to attack Zhang Yang. At the same time, they threw out several talismans. In their minds, attack talismans. Talisman, defense talisman. Talisman, talisman, defensive talisman. If this was a normal battle, and the enemy used self-destructing artifacts, they would have no problem dealing with it like this. Unfortunately, their judgment was wrong. It was a huge deviation. The two stones that looked like magic stones were not self-destructing Dharma artifacts. They were really magic stones. They were so fast, not because of the magic tools, but because the demonic stones had a terrifying force of 150,000 kilograms. They were so fast that they could tear through the air. The demonic stones contained pure demonic energy and were incomparably hard. Moreover, they were strengthened by an unparalleled force. Their power was beyond the imagination of any Foundation Establishment stage cultivator. The spells cast by the man and woman at the peak of the Foundation Establishment stage were easily torn apart. What about the defensive talisman outside their bodies? Their demonic shields were pierced through. The two demonic stones exploded their heads in front of their horrified eyes. Damn it, this guy. What kind of monster is he? Duin, who was hiding behind a rock, was sweating profusely. He swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Just now, he clearly saw that the burly man with a scar on his face threw out two stones that were similar to devil stones and killed the two false core stage powerhouses in one move. At the same time, he also grabbed the long whip with his bare hands. After casually tearing it apart, he split it into two black whips and put them away. He instantly killed two false core stage cultivators and caught a pseudo-magic tool with his bare hands. There was clearly no demonic energy flashing in his hands, but he was able to catch the pseudo-magic tool with his bare hands. His body didn't even shake. Could he be a bronze-armored corpse? Duan watched as Zhang Yang casually put away the storage bags of the man and woman. He turned around and walked toward the rock above the lava river. He seemed to have discovered something special about this rock. It shouldn't be. A bronze-armored corpse has a corpse core in its body. It is impossible for it to enter this level. This person must have used some kind of divine ability. It must be so. Duan reluctantly found an explanation and suppressed the fear in his heart. He trembled as he watched the man with a scar walk to the top of the gray rock. Then he saw the devil monkey fly out of the spirit beast bag at his waist and nimbly jump onto his shoulder. Duan saw this scene, and his pupils shrank. It turns out that the devil monkey is not injured at all. It is also this person's pet. Otherwise, it would not be so intimate. Thinking of this, cold sweat continued to appear on Duan's head. He immediately thought of the battle that happened before. It was this devil monkey that attracted the people of the two devil sects and caused the devil cultivators of the West Continent to fight with them. Then, the people of the blood refining sect also rushed over. They used their divine ability that was comparable to a core formation stage magic tool to attack the disciples of the two devil sects. Later, the reinforcements of the two devil sects arrived one after another, and a fierce battle broke out. It seems that the battle, just now, was arranged by this person in front of me. But what benefits does he get by doing this? Duan's mind was filled with thoughts. Then, he was frightened by the scene in front of him. He saw the man with a scar let the devil monkey cross the bridge first. He directly jumped off the rock bridge and plunged into the lava. He is crazy. The temperature of the lava is comparable to a core formation stage true fire. Could it be that he discovered the poison I arranged and wants to use the lava to burn it? But if we do that, his physical body will be incinerated immediately. Just as Duan's imagination was running wild, the ground suddenly trembled slightly. The lava not far away also began to boil. Then, under Duan's sluggish gaze, the huge gray rock that could resist the burning of the lava slowly rose. Rumble. As if there was a terrifying force pushing from below, the gray rock flew out of the lava river and fell not far away from Duan. It smashed a small hole in the solid ground. It was obvious that the weight of the rock was not light at all. Then, a naked figure leaped out of the magma and landed beside the gray rock with bits and pieces of magma. He put on a black robe again. Du covered his mouth with both hands. He did not dare to breathe. After seeing this person jump into the lava and pull out the gray rock, he knew that this person was definitely a core formation stage cultivator. He did not know what method he used to enter the secret realm. He didn't have any intention of killing this person with poison. When this person jumped out just now, the scorching hot lava rolled on his skin in vain. It couldn't hurt his body at all. His poison was a joke against this kind of body. Duan only hoped that the chi concealing pill would work and hide him from detection. TSK, this sacred poison sect brat is quite interesting. Chapter 726. Lu Kuan watched as Duan revealed himself and walked out from behind a rock. Curiosity flashed in his eyes. In fact, when Duan's essence dissolving devil powder fell on his body, Lu Kuan had already noticed it. This kind of devil powder was truly magical. If his spiritual sense hadn't reached the late core formation stage, he wouldn't have been able to notice it. Under his investigation, Lu Kuan soon discovered Duan, who was stealthily hiding away from the battlefield. After that, Duan's every move was seen by Lu Kuan. It was only then that Lu Kuan discovered that this rogue cultivator who had infiltrated the Western Regions group was actually a disciple of the Holy Poison sect. The fine devil powder that appeared in the devil chi, the divine ability that restrained the fluctuations of devil chi, and the poison that was placed on the gray rock were all rather extraordinary. Lu Kuan was very interested in the sacred poison sect, a sect that could refine all kinds of poisons. Originally, he had used the black-striped scorpion poison and the silver silkworm poison to speed up his viscera forging stage cultivation. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to enter the bone treasure stage so quickly. He still had the poison demon powder that he had bought from the Monolith City's auction. It was said that it was one of the 3 holy poisons of the sacred poison sect. He wanted to try it and see if it had any effect on the body cultivation of the bone treasure stage. Hence, after Lu Kuan and Xiao Jin created a chaotic battle so that the strength of the 3 evil cult disciples was balanced, they chose Duan to leave the group. "Little fellow, what is your name? You are hiding amongst loose cultivators. You seem to possess quite the skill. Could you be an esoteric disciple of the sacred poison sect?" Lu Kuan asked Duan, who was walking over. Duan replied timidly, "Reporting to Senior, Junior Duan is indeed a disciple of the sacred poison sect. However, I'm not an esoteric disciple. I'm just an ordinary disciple who bought the right to enter the secret realm from the Rogue Cultivator Alliance." Upon hearing this, Lu Kuan's curiosity deepened. "You're just an ordinary disciple, but you actually have so many medicinal herbs and poison arts. I don't remember the Holy Poison sect being so powerful." As he spoke, Lu Kuan shook his body and completely let go of the restraints on his body. An invisible pressure spread out in all directions. Duan's face turned paler and paler, and his eyes revealed extreme fear. Although Lu Kuan had revealed some kind of demonic pressure, the oppressive feeling coming from his physical body made his hair stand on end. Duan could clearly feel that the strange man in front of him could easily kill him with just a flick of his little finger. He hesitated for a moment before speaking truthfully. "Senior, this junior is an ordinary disciple of the Holy Poison sect. By chance, I obtained the legacy of a senior in the sect. Thus, I am more proficient in poisons and special medicines than the other disciples." Lu Kuan said indifferently, "Take it out and let me see." Duan sighed in his heart and obediently took out a jade slip that was emitting a spiritual light. Lu Kuan took the jade slip and probed it with his spiritual sense. A moment later, a look of pleasant surprise appeared on his face. The jade slip contained a complete set of poison-making and alchemy techniques, from the entry level to the level of a poison refining master, and a series of other skills were explained in great detail. In addition, there are also a large number of poison recipes and many strange medicines. Lu Kuan's mind turned. He glanced at the anxious Du and suddenly adjusted his facial muscles, restoring his original appearance. His body also changed slightly, making him look more burly and sturdy. Duin saw this, and a trace of bitterness appeared at the corner of his mouth. This senior, who was suspected to be a core formation master, should have sneaked into the secret realm through the blood-refining sect. He had also just led the 3 sects to fight. Obviously, he had a great plan. Duin had discovered the other party's plan to incite a chaotic battle. Now that this senior had revealed his original appearance in front of him, it meant that his death was imminent. As for escaping, Duin didn't even dare to think about it. As long as this senior casually threw out a devil stone, he would definitely die. Even the most powerful marrow-devouring ointment he had on him wouldn't be able to do anything. Duin regretted his greed very much. If he had stayed away from the forbidden volcanic area, he might have been able to survive. He might even have been able to ambush a few demonic cultivators from the West region. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in this world. Lu Kuan looked at Duin's expression and naturally understood what he was thinking. He narrowed his eyes and said, "You have stumbled upon my secret. Only death awaits you. However, I see that you have some ability. As long as you release most of your soul and let me lay down a restriction and become my servant, I can spare your life." When Duin heard this, a look of struggle appeared on his face. This time, he tried his best to come to the Yuan secret realm to obtain some precious demonic herbs to refine the heart-devouring poison's antidote and leave the sacred poison sect. He didn't want to be controlled by others anymore, nor did he want to live a life of fear in the sacred poison sect. However, at this moment, his situation was even worse. Handing over most of his soul was equivalent to handing his life over to others. As long as the other party willed it, his soul would vanish into thin air. However, if he didn't agree, only death awaited him. Duin was caught in a dilemma. He could either die immediately or hand his life over to the person in front of him. His life and death were not in his control. Lu Kuan looked at Duin's constantly changing expression and didn't urge him. Instead, he looked at the gray rock beside him and gently stroked it with his fingers. He had already tested the poison on the rock. He even deliberately restrained his chi and blood power. He found that the poison's special feature was that it could penetrate the demonic power and seep into the bones before the poison broke out. Although this poison couldn't cause the slightest damage to the bones of a middle-stage bone treasure realm cultivator, it would still be dangerous if a physique cultivator below the blood condensation realm was poisoned. Of course, the severe damage to the bones was a kind of cultivation for a physique cultivator in the bone-tempering realm. This poison could be regarded as a miraculous elixir to speed up the bone-tempering realm. Taking Duin as a servant and letting him guide the second generation of physique cultivators in the way of refining poison was much more cost-effective than killing him. With the sacred poison sect's methods, the physique cultivator's poison system would gradually be perfected. Senior, this junior is willing to give up most of my soul and become senior servant. However, this junior has a request. Duin pondered for a long time and finally made up his mind. If he died, he would have nothing. Only by living would there be endless possibilities. Tell me, Duin said, as an ordinary disciple of the sacred poison sect, this junior has taken the heart-devouring poison. With the existence of this poison, even if this junior becomes senior servant, I will still be controlled by the sacred poison sect. Lu Kuan raised his eyebrows and said, "Heart-devouring poison? How does this poison act up?" Duin replied, "The heart-devouring poison has always been lurking in our hearts. It acts up once every 20 years. Only by taking the sect's temporary antidote regularly can we save our lives." Hearing this, Lu Kuan's eyes emitted a golden light as he looked at Duin's heart. Sure enough, as he said, there were countless black threads in Duin's heart. It looked like the entire heart was wrapped in them. Duin said nervously, "Senior, if this heart-devouring poison is stimulated by magic power, it will immediately act up and corrode the heart, so..." Lu Kuan waved his hand and said, "I have a way to deal with it." After saying that, he grabbed Duin's left hand and lightly scratched his wrist with his fingernail, cutting a hole in his artery. Then, he opened his mouth and forced out a small ball of dark red blood essence. This ball of blood essence exuded an extremely rich vitality. It entered Du-En's wrist artery and went all the way up to his heart. Then, under the urging of Lu Kuan's divine sense, the ball of blood essence spread out in Du-En's heart. The surging vitality was like an invisible scorching flame, directly melting the black threads on Du-En's heart. Then this ball of blood essence condensed again. Under Lu Kuan's control, it spurted out from Du-En's wrist and turned into a pool of black blood that fell to the ground. Based on his understanding of the heart and his experience of resisting poison with his physical body, Lu Kuan directly used Du-En's vigorous vitality to melt the heart-devouring poison and get rid of it. This kind of detoxification method was probably not thought of by the sacred poison sex people. Du-En only felt the vitality in his body churning. His heart felt like it was about to explode. Then, it returned to normal. The heart-devouring poison outside his heart also disappeared, and his whole body felt relaxed. Chapter 727. Du-En felt an unfathomable power of divine sense acting on his soul, engraving a profound restriction mark. From the moment this mark took effect, his life and death would be in the other party's hands. Du-En often hung around in the West Continent, so he naturally encountered core formation cultivators before. However, this divine sense felt much stronger than the core formation cultivators he encountered. He felt that the person in front of him was at least a terrifying existence in the late stage of the core formation realm. Du-En somewhat understood that such a powerhouse taking him in as a servant definitely had nothing to do with his cultivation level. It was most likely because of his strange medicine and poison concocting techniques. Lu Kuan sensed Du-En's thoughts, and the corner of his mouth curled up. After laying down the restriction on Du-En's soul, he could roughly sense Du-En's thoughts. Moreover, with just a thought, he could make Du-En's soul scatter. Only then did Lu Kuan feel completely relieved. He slowly said, "I'm taking you in as a servant. On one hand, I need your poison concocting techniques. On the other hand, it's related to the sacred poison sect." Du-En was somewhat puzzled. Sacred poison sect? Lu Kuan patted his shoulder and said, "After the secret realm ends, I'll arrange for a disciple to come in contact with you. At that time, he'll tell you how to use your poison concocting techniques. As for the sacred poison sect, your current cultivation level is too low. You'll need to reach the core formation realm at the very least." Du-En's expression froze. He could understand the first sentence as it required his poison concocting techniques. However, he couldn't understand the meaning of the second sentence. If it was related to the sacred poison sect, he would need to reach the core formation realm. However, his aptitude wasn't high, so his chances of reaching the core formation realm were quite low. Soon after, he recalled that the master in front of him was a terrifying existence in the late stage of the core formation realm. The meaning behind his words was, thinking of this, he stuttered, "Core formation realm? Master, you're saying?" Lu Kuan nodded and said, "Since you've become my servant, I'll naturally provide you with some conveniences. I can definitely increase your chances of reaching the core formation realm by 30 to 40%. As for whether you can reach the core formation realm, that will depend on your luck." Du-En was ecstatic. From these words, it could be seen that he still had a lot of value. Moreover, with the help of such an unfathomable master, he might really be able to smoothly enter the core formation stage. Lu Kuan turned around and looked at the gray rock beside him. He sighed. The Yuan secret realm really lives up to its reputation. The dragon-breaking rock that is almost extinct in the outside world can be found here. Moreover, it's such a big piece. Hearing this, Du-En couldn't help but ask curiously, "Master, what kind of treasure is this dragon-breaking stone?" Lu Kuan stretched out his hand and rubbed the surface of the rock. His hard fingernails scratched the surface of the rock, making a sizzling sound. There was not the slightest mark on the rock. He explained, "The dragon-snapping stone is naturally able to withstand high temperatures. Its material is also incomparably tough. Even if a nascent soul cultivator were to attack it with his fire of mana and magic treasures, it would be difficult to destroy it. Furthermore, the dragon-breaking stone is very inert. All kinds of spiritual chi and demonic chi cannot be conducted in it. Therefore, this material cannot be refined into any Dharma artifact or Dharma treasure. Its use is to be refined into a trap mechanism. Duan looked at the surprise in Lu Kuan's eyes and was a little confused. In his opinion, the dragon-snapping stone was almost useless if it could not be used as a material. Lu Kuan recalled the description of the Yang clan's weapon forging legacy. The joy in his eyes became more and more obvious. He shot out a ray of demonic light and kept it in his storage bag. Although the dragon-snapping stone was very difficult to destroy, in the Yang clan's legacy, there was a special potion that could meld it and make it into a fixed mold for a set of Dharma artifacts. Using the potion to fix the dragon-snapping stone into two identical weapon imprints meant that the speed of refining a set of Dharma artifacts could be greatly increased. Because of the existence of the dragon-snapping stone, the weapon forger did not need to maintain the shape of the Dharma artifacts. They only needed to focus on smelting the material and carving miniature Dharma array runes. The consumption of spiritual energy was greatly reduced. Moreover, for a body cultivator, the dragon-snapping stone was extremely sturdy. During the refining process, it could be combined with the strength of the physical body, greatly reducing the difficulty of refining. According to the Weapon Forging Legacy's Jade Slip, even the Yang clan only had a small piece of dragon-snapping stone. It was almost useless. At this time, the dragon-snapping stone that Lu Kuan had obtained was 7 feet in diameter. If they knew the true use of the dragon-snapping stone and the method of refining the potion, nascent soul-stage cultivators would probably fight for it. With such a treasure, a sect's main standard Dharma artifacts could be refined in batches, and the strength of the foundation establishment stage disciples would increase by 1 level. The importance of the dragon-snapping stone to the body refining pavilion and the treasure pavilion was self-evident. After Lu Kuan put away the dragon-snapping stone, he made a copy of the jade slip in his hand and returned it to Duan. He looked ahead and said, "Let's go. Follow me to explore the volcano ahead." Squeak, squeak. Xiao Jin, who was on Lu Kuan's shoulder, heard this and cheered. It jumped and jumped towards the volcano 2 miles away. The yellow fur on its body was still bright. It seemed that the high temperature here was unable to burn it. Duan said somewhat awkwardly, "Master, the temperature here is already so high. If it's the volcano, I'm afraid I won't be able to withstand it." Lu Kuan smiled and released all the demonic crystals hidden in the depths of his bones. A surge of chi and blood mixed with dense demonic chi flowed in his blood. Duan unconsciously took 2 steps back. He immediately felt the demonic chi pressure that was several times stronger than that of a Great Circle Foundation establishment stage cultivator. However, when he thought of his master's strength, this kind of demonic chi was very normal. Lu Kuan formed a seal with his hands, and some black lightning flickered. Immediately after, a black barrier flickered with demonic chi and covered Duan's body. Duan looked at the solid barrier outside his body. The original heat disappeared without a trace. Then, he heard Lu Kuan's voice, "Hurry up and follow me." Now that half of the disciples of the 3 demonic sects are dead or injured, no one will explore the volcano for the time being. Duan looked up and saw that Lu Kuan was already dozens of feet away. He hurriedly cast a light body technique on himself and ran after him. He looked at the burly figure in front of him who was running freely in the hot air. In his heart, other than respect for this new master, he also had a strong curiosity. Previously, when Lu Kuan jumped into the lava and threw out the dragon-snapping stone, his entire body was immersed in the lava, which was comparable to the true fire of the core formation stage. The defense of his body, which even the lava could not do anything to, was indeed terrifying. Moreover, Lu Kuan only used 2 demonic stones to kill the man and woman from the Yin-Yang sect. Demonic stones were top-notch treasures for cultivation, but when used to attack, they were just hard stones. hard stones were able to kill a Great Circle Foundation establishment demonic cultivator. That meant that the stones contained unimaginable power. In Du In's cultivation life, he had never heard of a cultivator's physical body being so strong. If he hadn't become Lu Kuan's servant and confirmed that Lu Kuan was a human through his divine soul, Du would have thought that Lu Kuan was an 8th-level demonic beast. Chapter 728. A cultivator with the light body technique would be able to cover a distance of more than 2 miles without having to worry about the high temperature. In the time it took to brew a cup of tea, Lu Kuan and Dune arrived at the foot of the dual-peak demonic volcano. At this moment, Xiao Jin was angrily squeaking at the foot of the mountain. More than half of its yellow fur was charred black. It looked like it had been burned by the high temperature and was in a sorry state. When Lu Kuan heard the little monkeys squeaking, he knew what was going on. The little monkey had entered the 4th grade demonic beast realm through the body refinement art. Its fur had an extremely high defense. It wasn't burned by the high temperature, even in the forbidden volcano. However, the temperature inside the volcano was even higher. Its fur couldn't resist and was burning. If it was before, Xiao Jin's body had an incomparably strong demonic spiritual energy. It could activate a body refinement barrier that stuck close to its skin to resist. Unfortunately, its demonic spiritual energy had dissipated. Its body only had the demonic spiritual energy of a 3rd-grade demonic beast. The barrier it formed was too weak and useless. Lu Kuan didn't care about the little monkey's distress. Instead, he looked at the volcano in front of him that was shrouded in high temperature. The dual-peak demonic volcano was similar to the one he saw in the distance. It had 2 peaks that were 200 feet tall. The 2 peaks were connected at the mountainside. The entire mountain looked blurry. It was obvious that all the mountain rocks were emitting a suffocating heat. In addition, at the top of the 2 peaks, as well as at the mountainside, there were billowing thick smoke spewing into the sky. Lu Kuan didn't use a barrier to protect himself. His nose had already smelled the suffocating smell of sulfur. The 2 peaks were where the lava was erupting. Streams of lava emitting faint black smoke flowed out from the 2 peaks, converging into a lava lake at the mountainside. Finally, the lava slowly flowed out from the gap at the mountainside, forming a lava river that extended all the way to the foot of the mountain. In addition to the high temperature, there was also an extremely dense demonic aura in the volcano. This was gathered from various places in the secret realm. He even felt that cultivating demonic spiritual energy here was no less than using devil stones. Lu Kuan casually sent out a demonic thunder shield at the little monkey. His eyes revealed some caution as he said, "This demonic volcano is not simple. Even with my divine sense, I cannot scout too far. I can only use my eyes to observe. I'm afraid my demonic lightning shield won't be able to hold on for long. Follow behind me and don't stray too far away. That way, I can replenish your shields at any time." After that, he took the lead and walked toward the first mountain peak in front of him. Duan and the little monkey carefully followed behind. There was a reason why Lu Kuan had brought them along. Inside the volcano, their consciousness would be greatly restricted. His golden eye god art and the little monkey's spiritual ear god art were the safest options. As for Duan's words, Lu Kuan wanted to take him to the deepest place where black smoke was rising from the magma. The black smoke exuded a strong smell of sulfur. When he breathed it in, he could feel the damage to his lungs. If there was a way to collect it and refine it into poison, it would be a great help to viscera forging stage body cultivators. The volcano peak was very steep. There were black and red rocks everywhere. When Lu Kuan stepped on it barefoot, he could feel a trace of scorching heat. Compared to the outside, the temperature here was almost twice as high. Even an ordinary Great Circle Foundation establishment cultivator wouldn't be able to hold on for too long. If it was at the summit or the mountainside where the magma was spitting out, perhaps only core formation cultivators would be able to withstand it. The demonic thunder shield that Lu Kuan used was a top ability of the true demonic lightning controlling true secret art. Its defensive power was astonishing. In addition, he used 4 times as much pure demonic blood as a false core formation cultivator to cast it. At the foot of the mountain, he should be able to hold on for half an hour. Lu Kuan didn't climb up. Instead, he followed the rocks at the foot of the mountain and walked around the peak. His eyes flashed with a golden light as he looked around at the scorching hot rocks. Behind him, the little monkey and Du and had nervous expressions. They followed closely behind Lu Kuan, afraid that the power of their shields would be exhausted. Suddenly, Lu Kuan stopped and stared at a huge red rock. He pointed at it and said, "Duan, what kind of herb do you think this is?" Duan heard this and walked forward. He followed Lu Kuan's gaze. He saw 7 or 8 fiery red mushrooms growing in the corner of the rock. There were faint flames flickering inside the mushrooms. He excitedly said, "Master, this is a demonic flame mushroom. Looking at its age, it's at least 1,000 years old. This kind of demonic flame mushroom is almost extinct in the outside world." Lu Kuan stroked his chin and asked, "What's the use of this demonic flame mushroom?" Duan immediately spoke eloquently. "Master, the biggest use of the demonic flame mushroom is to refine a kind of top-notch pill called the demonic flame pill. The demonic flame pill refined from the 1,000-year-old demonic flame mushroom can even increase the cultivation of core formation stage cultivators. If a demonic cultivator has a flame divine ability, the demonic flame pill can also increase the power of the flame. Once the demonic flame mushroom appears in the outside world, it will be bought at a high price." Duan secretly glanced at Lu Kuan and found that there was no change in his expression. He continued, "But for the sacred poison sect, the demonic flame mushroom is also a kind of poison refining material." Lu Kuan's eyes showed some interest. He asked, "What kind of poison? Tell me about it." Du, in spirit, shook as he said, "It's the fire poison powder. This fire poison powder is one of the alternatives I tried to use to deal with the heart-devouring poison. The most powerful part of the fire poison powder is that it can use a cultivator's magic power and magic power as fuel. Once a cultivator is poisoned, no matter how much magic power they use to resist the poison, it will only make the fire poison powder erupt in their body more violently. Of course, a core formation stage cultivator's magic power can resist a common fire poison powder. But if a 1,000-year-old demonic flame mushroom is used as the ingredient, the fire poison powder may be able to kill a core formation stage cultivator." The more Duan spoke, the more excited he became. He didn't even dare to think about this kind of top-notch poison before. This was because core formation stage cultivators would fight over these materials. It was simply impossible for him to obtain them. When Lu Kuan heard the description of the fire poison powder, he immediately asked, "Where does the fire poison powder erupt in the body?" Duan was stunned for a moment before he replied, "The fire poison powder destroys a cultivator's conjured body from the inside out. Naturally, it will erupt in the internal organs. As long as the internal organs are burned, the conjured body will be completely destroyed." Lu Kuan's eyes flashed as he said, "Very good. How we collect the demonic flame mushroom? Cut it off from the blackened part at the root and store it in a mirror box made of fire attribute materials." Lu Kuan pondered for a moment before he took out a mirror box made of fire-red jade from his storage pouch. This item came from Daoist Sky Fire. Back then, Daoist Sky Fire, Yangla of the Scorching Sun sect, and Ling Yu Tong of the Miraculous Gate teamed up to ambush Lu Kuan. In the end, they were killed. This mirror box was made of Fire Sun Jade. Lu Kuan found the material interesting and kept it. He didn't expect it to come in handy at this time. Lu Kuan walked to the demonic flame mushroom and pinched the blackened part at the root. He put the 7 or 8 demonic flame mushrooms in the mirror box and put it in his storage pouch. He said to Duan, "I'll keep these demonic flame mushrooms for now. After the secret realm is over, I'll let you refine the fire poison powder." When Duan heard this, his eyes flashed with joy. This fire poison powder's level wasn't low. For him, it could definitely improve his poison refining technique. The higher his poison refining technique, the more useful he would be to Lu Kuan. Duin naturally thought that Lu Kuan wanted him to refine the fire poison powder to deal with other core formation stage cultivators. After all, Lu Kuan's physical body was very strong. When he fought, he would definitely be like a demonic beast. He would attack at close range, and there would be many opportunities to poison him. Chapter 729. Next, Lu Kuan led Duin and the little monkey up the first mountain and found more than 10 magic flame mushrooms one after another. However, there were no more magic flame mushrooms when they reached the mountainside. According to Duin, it seemed that the temperature was too high and the magic flame mushrooms could not grow near the volcanic eruption. However, in the area above the mountainside, Lu Kuan discovered some fire attribute materials that were rarely seen in the outside world. These materials were soaked in demonic energy all year round and could be considered demonic fire materials. Several of them could even be used to refine demonic path magic treasures. There were also many scattered demon stones. After a few hours, Lu Kuan and the others had explored all the 2 mountain peaks. In total, they obtained dozens of magic flame mushrooms, more than 10 fire attribute materials, and thousands of devil stones. After looting everything on the 2 mountain peaks, Lu Kuan led Duin and the little monkey to the junction of the twin peaks. Because of the volcanic eruption and the terrain, a lava lake was formed here. At this time, the little monkey also informed Lu Kuan that there were cultivators outside who had begun to approach the twin peak volcano in groups. They seemed to have recovered from the previous battle. The lake was about 100 feet long and wide. Thick black smoke rose into the sky. Lu Kuan also unconsciously held his breath. As they approached, the devil thunder shield on the little monkey and Duin shrank at a speed visible to the naked eye. Seeing this, Lu Kuan patted his storage bag, and a huge gray rock fell on the edge of the lava lake. You two climb up this dragon-breaking stone. With the dragon-breaking stone blocking the heat, the loss of the devil thunder shield is negligible. While speaking, Lu Kuan formed 2 new devil thunder shields to replenish them. The devil chi in his body had been consumed by more than half because of the several times he had cast the spell. Lu Kuan did not care about this at all. The devil energy here was abundant. As long as he absorbed it with his heart, his devil energy would be replenished very quickly. This was also because he had a strong physical body. If it was other devil cultivator, facing the incomparably hot temperature here, they would not dare to absorb the devil energy at all. It would definitely damage their meridians. Seeing the little monkey and Duin climb up the dragon-breaking stone, Lu Kuan said, Duin, the black smoke of lava here is very harmful to the body of cultivators. It should also be highly toxic. Do you think it can be refined into poison? Duin observed the blurry black smoke not far away and nodded. Master, the poisonous sulfur smoke is already extremely toxic. The sulfur smoke from the volcano here can naturally destroy the dharma body of the cultivators. It's very easy to refine it into poison. Then he said in confusion, But Master, even if I condense the sulfur smoke into poison, it won't be of much use. This kind of poison has a physical existence and can't penetrate the shield. Moreover, if a poisonous substance like the sulfur smoke enters the body, magic power or devil energy can easily block it inside the body. It can't kill the cultivator. Hearing Duin's words, Lu Kuan slightly raised the corner of his mouth and said, Very good. You don't have to worry about its use. How do we collect the sulfur smoke? Duin said, Directly use a jade bottle magic tool to absorb the poisonous smoke. After it is condensed into a jade bottle, it will turn into poisonous sulfur water. With this poisonous water as the raw material, it will be very easy to refine it into poison. But the temperature of the poisonous smoke here is very high. I'm afraid we'll need a jade bottle made of fire attribute materials. Lu Kuan looked at the lava pool in front of him and raised his eyebrows. He took out a red stone from his storage bag. It was the fiery sunstone that he found on the mountain peak not long ago. After refining it, it would become the fiery sun jade. He placed the fiery sunstone at the edge of the lava lake. Half of it was soaked in the lava, and the other half was exposed. Then a black light flashed in his hand, and an incomparably huge pitch-black hammer appeared. It emitted a great pressure, and the surrounding demonic chi fluctuated when this hammer appeared. This large hammer was the heaven hammer that Lu Kuan obtained at the Monolith City auction. This hammer was a spiritual magic tool and needed to be activated with devil energy. Unfortunately, it weighed 28,000 pounds and was extremely difficult for normal core formation stage devil cultivators to control. But for Lu Kuan, just the fact that this weapon weighed close to 30,000 pounds made it very useful. For example, right now, he was using the Heaven Hammer's weight and material to refine the Fiery Sunstone, along with the magma's high temperature, which was comparable to the core formation realm's true fire. Lu Kuan raised the Heaven Hammer with one hand and hammered down on the Fiery Sunstone that was half submerged in the lava. Boom! An extremely oppressive sound reverberated. Duan and the little monkey, who were on top of the dragon-snapping stone, immediately felt the earth shake. From this, it could be seen how terrifying the strength of this hammer strike was. Boom, boom, boom. Lu Kuan's arms danced, and he began to increase the speed of his hammering. In an instant, magma splattered everywhere, dripping onto the black robe he was wearing, corroding the robe made of special materials, leaving holes in it. With his 300,000 pounds of strength, the Heaven Hammer, and the lava, the Fiery Sunstone was hammered into a ball of pure scarlet liquid in the time it took to make a cup of tea. Then, Lu Kuan took out a miniature spell formation engraving powder from his storage pouch and stuck it on his fingernails. Then his late core formation stage spiritual sense penetrated his body and acted on the ball of liquid. He grabbed the ball of liquid with both hands and waved it incessantly. In 10 breaths, the ball of liquid gradually turned into a scarlet jade bottle inlaid with countless complex patterns. It was magnificent and dazzling. Duan was dumbstruck as he watched from the side. The art of refining tools could be done like this? Usually, cultivators would use their magic power as their main source of fire, but his master only used lava as an auxiliary source. The refining of the material relied entirely on his terrifying strength to hammer it. In the end, the formation of the magic tool and the engraving of the miniature spell formation were all done with his bare hands. This material was not inferior to the temperature of core formation true fire. Lu Kuan directly threw the jade bottle in his hand and said, "Duan, this Fiery Sun jade bottle has a large capacity. With your cultivation, you can control it freely. Cast a spell to absorb the poisonous sulfur smoke." Duan received the jade bottle in a daze and let it float in front of him. Feeling the aura of the jade bottle, he was secretly shocked. If it was before, he would never have thought that such a top-grade magic tool could be refined in such a short time. "Master, don't worry. I guarantee it will be done." After saying that, Duan struck several spells at the jade bottle. The thick black smoke above the lava lake seemed to be attracted by something and gathered towards the mouth of the jade bottle. Seeing this, Lu Kuan nodded with satisfaction and said to the little monkey, "Xiao Jin, you can cultivate here. Not only is the devil chi here rich, but it also contains high temperature. It will be of great help to your cultivation." The little monkey's eyes lit up. Obviously, it understood Lu Kuan's meaning. After entering the secret realm, although it did not cultivate much, the progress of its body refining magic had already reached the limit of the devil chi in its blood. The next step was to produce the devil chi in its internal organs. The high-temperature devil chi here was just right to stimulate the body. It should be able to directly enter the devil chi level of a 4th-grade magic beast. Thinking of this, the little monkey blinked and looked at Lu Kuan. The latter understood and removed the Devil Thunder Shield outside Xiao Jin's body. Although the temperature outside was extremely high, with the strength of Xiao Jin's body, it would at most suffer a little, but its life would not be in danger. I will go to the bottom of the lava lake to explore. I will be back soon. Chapter 730. The Twin Peak Magic Volcano had a total of 3 places with a large amount of lava. 2 of them were the craters at the top of the Twin Peaks. As for the 3rd place, it was the lava pool at the mountainside. This volcano attracted a large amount of devil chi from the secret realm. The lava itself contained pure devil chi, and the temperature was comparable to the true fire of a core formation stage cultivator. Even a core formation stage cultivator would not dare to go deep. Lu Kuan wanted to dive into the lava lake. In addition to swallowing the storage bag into his body, he also put away all the robes on his body. Only his body that had reached the middle stage of the bone treasure realm could stay in the lava for a long time. After the body cultivator reached the middle stage of the bone treasure realm, the flesh and blood that grew by attaching to the bone treasure realm had also been sublimated, and its strength had greatly increased. Although it had not reached the level of magic treasure material, it would not be melted by the lava here in a short period of time. Lu Kuan closed his eyes and scanned the lava lake through the golden eye divine ability. He found that the lava here was far deeper than he had imagined. It was at least 100 feet deep, exceeding the height of the volcano. Moreover, at the bottom of the lava lake, there were 3 caves. 2 of them were on the left and right sides, connected to the 2 volcanic peaks. There was a lot of lava surging inside. Seeing this scene, Lu Kuan understood that when a volcano first erupted, in addition to the twin peaks, there should have been an eruption at the mountainside. The interior of the twin peaks was connected to the interior of the mountainside. The magma inside flowed through these 2 channels. When the volcano erupted, the mountainside naturally suffered a lot of pressure from the eruption. The magma inside shot out and finally formed a magma lake with the magma flowing out of the twin peaks. Although it looked like a twin peak volcano, in fact, there were 3 lava eruptions. The pressure of the eruption came from the cave in the middle. Thinking of this, Lu Kuan could not help but be more curious about the cave at the bottom. He began to move his limbs and swim to the bottom. Fortunately, Lu Kuan's physical strength was terrifying. Otherwise, in this extremely dense lava, he would not be able to move at all. The deeper he went, the greater the pressure on his body. If his strength was too low, he would not be able to explore the bottom at all. As he went deeper, the devil chi contained in the lava became denser and denser. He also saw a large number of red-hot devil stones. This made Lu Kuan ponder. The devil stones outside the volcano were ejected when the volcano erupted. There are already tens of thousands of devil stones here. The cave at the bottom is probably the land of devil stones. As he pondered, Lu Kuan arrived at the bottom of the cave. Streams of scorching magma flowed out from within, accompanied by a large amount of gas. These gases were burned and filtered by layers of magma before finally turning into the poisonous sulfur smoke outside. Is there another space? Lu Kuan injected his divine psyche into his eyes and pushed his golden eye divine art to the extreme. But even so, he could only see 100 feet of magma in the cave and nothing else. Looks like this is close to the core of the volcano's restriction. Lu Kuan became vigilant. He carefully swam into the cave. The pressure from the lava here was even greater. Every time he slid, he used about 100,000 gene of strength. After swimming for another few dozen feet, he left the cave passage. He seemed to be in the depths of the dual-peak demonic volcano. At this moment, a black shadow suddenly flung at Lu Kuan from the left. Its speed was not inferior to his swimming speed. What is that? Lu Kuan clenched his fist. He was not afraid at all. He punched at the black shadow. After entering the middle stage of the bone treasure realm, the bones in his fist were a magic treasure. He did not believe that in the first level of the secret realm, there was something that could break a magic treasure. Boom! An invisible ripple spread out in all directions, and the lava in front of Lu Kuan was separated by a huge force. Without the lava in the way, Lu Kuan could see a thick tail not far in front of him. It was covered in rock-hard scales, and the place where Lu Kuan had clashed with it was damaged. This creature sneak-attacked Lu Kuan, but was injured. It immediately swung its tail and fled. There is a demonic beast in the lava. It is so fast in the lava. Just in time to lead the way. Lu Kuan increased the speed of his 4 limbs, closely following the unknown magical beast in front of him. Although this magical beast was very adapted to the environment of magma, and its swimming speed was not slow, Lu Kuan's strength was much stronger than it, and he followed closely behind. After swimming for about 1 incense stick's time, Lu Kuan saw the demonic beast scuttling up and disappearing in front of him. He was delighted. Clearly, there was another cave in front. Gadoo-doo. Lu Kuan jumped out of the lava and stepped on solid ground. Then, he looked around and was stunned. He saw that he was standing on a gray rock in a small lava river. This gray rock was very cool to the touch. It was actually a dragon-breaker rock, and in the lava river around him, there were a dozen pairs of eyes that emitted a faint black light staring at him. Above these eyes, there were pieces of red, rock-like scales. They had a long and flat head that was very similar to a crocodile, and only the parts above the eyes were exposed to the outside. Lu Kuan stroked his chin and looked at the dozen or so crocodile-like demonic beasts with interest. He found that these guys, besides looking at him in the lava, had no intention of attacking. Let's catch one and take a look. This one seems to have the strongest aura. Muttering in his heart, Lu Kuan's legs sank. His whole body appeared in front of the crocodile's head like lightning. He wrapped his hands around its head and locked it. The other demonic beasts immediately reacted. Several thick tails covered with rock-like scales bombarded Lu Kuan's back, making dull banging sounds. Lu Kuan didn't care about the other attacks. Previously, he fought with one of the demonic beasts in the lava. The other party's strength was only about 40,000 Jin. It couldn't break through the solid defense of the muscles on his back. Lu Kuan's legs kicked the body of a demonic beast behind him. His arms surged with a huge force. Holding the demonic beast in his hand, he borrowed the force to jump out of the lava. A huge body was thrown on top of the dragon-breaker rock. It really is a demon crocodile. Lu Kuan pressed one hand on the dark red crocodile's neck. No matter how the demon crocodile's thick limbs and tail swung, it couldn't move an inch. TSK. This demon crocodile is a peak level 4 demonic beast. It's only one step away from condensing its core. Its scales are also treasures. The previous one took a punch from me, but it only broke a little. Obviously, in addition to its high heat resistance, its defensive power is also very high. It's an excellent material for refining weapons. Lu Kuan looked at the huge body under him and commented. His eyes flashed with a strange light. Obviously, for a master refiner like him, the demon crocodile scales were very valuable. Lu Kuan's demon crocodile quivered as if it felt the threat of death. It stopped struggling and gave up resisting. Its dark eyes stared at Lu Kuan. It blinked twice, and there was a pleading look in its eyes. Its mouth also let out a miserable cry. Woo-woo, Lu Kuan said with interest. Hey, a level 4 demonic beast intelligence is not low. Little crocodile, as long as you do me a favor, I can spare your life. How about it? The demon crocodile that was pressed down seemed to understand. It immediately swung its tail and slapped the gray dragon-breaker rock, making a crisp sound. Lu Kuan slowly removed his hand. Seeing that the demon crocodile didn't dare to make any movements, he said with satisfaction, Very good, let's go. Take me to the place where the demon chi is the thickest. The demon crocodile raised its head and looked at Lu Kuan. Then it crawled into the lava river. Its movements were very slow. It was afraid that Lu Kuan would think it was trying to escape. Chapter 731. The molten demon crocodile king swam forward slowly. Although it had a large head, small eyes, and a thick neck, and could not turn its head to look behind it, its spiritual sense told it that the terrifying human was following closely behind it. It had awakened its bloodline inheritance and was the king of this group of molten demon crocodiles. Its spiritual wisdom and knowledge were much greater than the other demon crocodiles. Even so, it could not imagine that such a puny human could possess such a terrifying power that suffocated it. Under such power, it could not resist at all. According to the information from its subordinates, this human had swam over from the mouth of the cave where the lava had erupted. That seemingly weak skin was actually tougher than its armor. Not only was it able to withstand the high temperature of the lava, it was also able to withstand its attacks easily. It even began to doubt whether the information it had inherited from its bloodline was correct, and whether its ancestors had ever seen a real human. Little crocodile, your speed is slower than mine. Hurry up. Damn human. I'm not a lowly reptile like a crocodile. Even among the demonic beasts, I am the famous molten demon crocodile. Damn it. How dare you sit on my noble body? Even my favorite female crocodile does not have such an honor. If it were not for the fact that I can't defeat you, I would have whipped you to death with my tail. Of course, the molten demon crocodile king only dared to complain in its heart. Its body was very obedient. It carried Lu Kuan on its back, and its thick limbs and tail kept waving as it swam faster. Just like that, Lu Kuan sat on the back of the molten demon crocodile king. After half an hour, they arrived in an underground cave that was hundreds of feet long and wide. The most eye-catching thing was a semicircular silver light screen with a diameter of 3 feet in the middle. Streams of demonic chi surged towards it. Lu Kuan immediately understood that the reason why the volcano above was absorbing the demonic chi was because of this light screen. In his perception, the restrictive power that restricted the divine sense also spread out from here. At such a close distance, his divine sense, which was in the late core formation stage, could not be too far away from his body. In addition to this silver light screen, there were more than 20 demon crocodiles of various sizes in the cave. The largest was close to 2 feet long, and the smallest was only a few feet long. All of the demon crocodiles looked at Lu Kuan with their big and small eyes. Their instincts as demonic beasts told them that this guy was not to be trifled with. Even their strongest king was being ridden by him. In the corner of the cave, there was a big pile of broken rock scales. They seemed to have been left behind by the demon crocodile. Apart from these, the rocks in the ground that the demon crocodiles used as nests were also filled with pure devil chi. Seeing this scene, even Lu Kuan, who was sitting in the Dead Sea Devil nest, couldn't help but swallow his saliva. If the ground of the cavern was the same as the Dead Sea Devil's nest, then the magic stones stored here would be enough to make any devil sect go crazy. Lu Kuan leaped and arrived at the center of the silver light screen in a few flashes. He observed it carefully. Golden light flashed in his eyes. The molten demon crocodile king looked at the human's movements with anticipation. This human strength was so strong that it might be beyond the level of a level 5 demonic beast. As for the Molten Fiend Crocodile clan, if there was a level 5 senior, they would be driven into this light screen by an unknown pressure. It seemed like this place could only accommodate existences below level 5. It would be great if this human could also enter it. The Demon Crocodile King roared. It called the Demon Crocodile King, who was still in a daze, to its side. With so many of its kind around, the Demon Crocodile King felt much safer. But after a while, the Demon Crocodile King was disappointed to find that the human was not attracted by the silver light screen. After circling around the outside, he began to look at the other parts of the cave. This action made the Demon Crocodile King's heart jump, especially when the human's gaze fell on a pile of demon crocodile eggs. Then it saw the human spit out a small pouch from his mouth. The pouch released a large amount of light and took away all the stones they used to build their nests. Seeing this, the Demon Crocodile King breathed a sigh of relief. Although the stones contained pure demon chi, the stones on the ground were the same. Taking away the stones would not affect their lives much. Lu Kuan looked at the more than 30,000 magic stones in the storage bag, and then looked at the magic stone ground here. His heart was burning. His cultivation after the middle stage of the bone treasure was definitely still using magic power and thunder attribute magic power to produce the destructive force to temper the bone treasure. After obtaining the blood magic of the core formation stage, the number of magic stones needed would definitely not be small. For a normal core formation cultivator, it would take them at least 300 years to refine their magic treasures to the mature stage. However, he had to refine all 206 inlaid magic treasures to the mature stage. Time was completely unpredictable. Naturally, the more magic stones he had, the better. Luckily, I made a shovel for the demon stones in the devil's cave. When I go back, I will dig up 2 levels. Lu Kuan knocked on the demon stones on the ground. He judged the hardness of the ground. It seemed to be similar to the devil's cave. However, the demon chi in the surroundings was still far from the true demon chi. Lu Kuan thought about the appearance of the volcano and the restrictive force here. He had a faint guess in his heart. He looked at the group of demon crocodiles not far away and said, "Hey, little crocodile, come here." Hearing this, the demon crocodile king hesitated and did not move. There were a few female crocodiles that it doted on and a few of its offspring. It felt that if it went over so easily, it would damage its dignity as a king. It's really troublesome to have my divine sense restricted. Lu Kuan sighed. The powerful restrictive force here was giving him a headache. If he could release his divine sense, it would not be so troublesome. The divine sense of a late-stage, core formation stage cultivator was not something that these demon beasts that were not even level 5 could resist. Lu Kuan shook his body. His strong legs stomped on the ground, and he appeared behind the demon crocodile king in a flash. He grabbed its tail with both hands, and before the other demon crocodiles could react, he threw the demon crocodile king out. The demon crocodile king smashed on the demon stone ground outside the silver light curtain. Roar! The surrounding demon crocodiles were enraged. They attacked one after another, swinging their tails, waving their claws, biting and tearing. A few demon crocodiles in the distance even spat out scorching flames. Lu Kuan stood in the same place. He did not use his muscles to resist. His 2 arms danced quickly, and he used his knuckles and elbows to attack the demon crocodiles beside him. He did not care about the flames in the distance. Following a series of crackling sounds, the surrounding level 3 and level 4 demon alligators let out painful cries. The parts that they used to attack Lu Kuan seemed to have been hit by a hard weapon. Their scales, claws, and teeth were all shattered. The demon crocodile king shook its dizzy head. Seeing this scene, it thought that Lu Kuan was going to massacre its entire tribe. It opened its bloody mouth and whimpered as if begging for mercy. Seeing this, Lu Kuan's body flashed. He came to the demon crocodile king's side and snorted, "Now you know fear?" The demon crocodile king let out a low roar, ordering the other demon crocodiles to retreat and stop attacking. It then lowered its head to Lu Kuan. Lu Kuan said indifferently, "Let me ask you, did something happen to the demon chi here not long ago?" The demon crocodile king nodded repeatedly. Didn't this silver light screen emit devil chi in the past? When the demon crocodile king heard this question, it seemed that it did not know how to answer. It nodded and shook its head. Lu Kuan pondered for a moment and said, "The demon chi that gushed out in the past was quite special. In addition to being pure, there was also a trace of demon chi inside." The demon crocodile king nodded. When Lu Kuan heard this, it suddenly dawned on him. As he had inferred, this should be the so-called demon chi output node. Yuan school had used a special Zhen method to separate the demon chi from the water of true demon into the demon chi. God knows how many tens of thousands of years the demon chi had been immersed in the demon chi. Just like the Dead Sea Devil Cave, the rocks in the cave had gradually turned into demon stones. But not long ago, there was a change in the Zhen method of the secret territory. Not only did it not release demon chi, but it also absorbed the demon chi from the first layer. This was also the time when the Zhen method of the secret territory appeared. It seems that this light curtain is indeed the node of the Zhen method. It can be used to enter the second layer through the Yuan jade pendant. The changes that happened here must be related to the second layer. The secret territory has not been open for a long time. I'm not in a hurry to enter the second layer. I should get the benefits of the first layer first. Lu Kuan thought of this and said to the trembling demon crocodile king in front of him, "Little crocodile, I am in a good mood. I will not kill you, but I will take all the bones of the demon crocodile in the corner of the cave." After saying that, Lu Kuan went to a corner of the cave and collected all the scales and claws of the dead demon crocodiles into his storage bag. Many of these materials have been soaked in demon chi for countless years and were much more precious than living demon crocodiles. Little crocodile, take me out. With you as my temporary mount, I will not need to spend too much effort in the lava. When the demon crocodile king heard this, it was somewhat excited. This terrifying human was finally going to leave. It crawled happily and rushed to the edge of the lava. It was excited to see Lu Kuan sitting on its back. Chapter 732. Double Peak Magic Volcano outside the lava lake. Duan was controlling the fiery sun jade bottle while curiously observing Xiao Jin. It was the first time he had seen such a psychic, level 3 magical beast. According to the situation along the way, it seemed that the devil monkey's master could understand all the squeaks coming out of its mouth. Duan had witnessed this devil monkey in the battle not long ago. It was still alive and kicking after withstanding the attacks of many magical tools and pseudo-magical weapons. At this time, it did not seem to have any signs of injury and could even cultivate its magical power in such a high-temperature environment. This showed that this devil monkey's physical defense was as abnormal as its master's. Hey, what's going on? The surrounding devil chi. At this time, Duan suddenly felt that the devil chi in the surroundings fluctuated and rushed to the broken dragon stone where he was. Could it be this devil monkey? Seeing this scene, Duan naturally looked at Xiao Jin. He used the fiery sun jade bottle to collect the poisonous smoke so it would not affect the devil chi. Only this monkey could cultivate its magical power. Sure enough, under the careful observation of his spiritual sense, he found that the devil chi on the little monkey's body was getting richer and richer. It seemed to have reached a critical point. Moreover, at such a close distance, Duan also felt a frightening power of chi and blood in the little monkey's body. The surrounding devil chi mixed with high temperature quickly gathered around the little monkey's body. Although the broken dragon stone could isolate the temperature, it could not stop the surging devil chi. Duan hurriedly moved 2 steps away from Xiao Jin. Because the high-temperature devil chi was approaching, the devil thunder shield that Lu Kuan had cast outside his body consumed much more quickly. Fortunately, there is the broken dragon stone. The shield consumption is still lower than at the foot of the mountain. Duan walked to the other side of the broken dragon stone in 2 steps and was about 4 feet away from the little monkey. He did not care about the accelerated consumption of the devil thunder shield. Even if the shield disappeared, he could withstand the high temperature of the broken dragon stone for a while with his cultivation of a late stage of Zhuji realm. On the other hand, Duan was slightly worried as he looked at Xiao Jin. Under the attack of the high-temperature demonic energy, the yellow fur on the little monkey's body gradually withered, as if its body had been injured. However, the mana in the little monkey's body was slowly but surely increasing. It had already reached the standard of a level 4 magical beast, and it was still increasing. What kind of species is Master's Devil Monkey? It actually has such terrifying aptitude. Not only is it able to break through in this high-temperature devil chi environment, but the devil chi in its body is still increasing. You can't be that fast even if you take drugs. Just as Duan clicked his tongue, a thick black shield suddenly appeared a few dozen meters away. Inside it, 3 figures could be vaguely seen walking along the lava stream towards him. Shit! To think that a demonic cultivator would be able to reach this place so quickly. When Duan saw the figure in the distance, he was startled at first, but then he seemed to sense something and relaxed his body. He continued to control the fiery sun jade bottle to collect the poisonous sulfur smoke, as if he wasn't worried about the appearance of a strange demonic cultivator. As for Xiao Jin, he was still in a state of cultivation. In the distance, the people in the array immediately saw the eye-catching dragon snapping rock outside the lava lake, as well as the little monkey and Duan on it. Someone actually came here alone. What's the origin of his shield? It can actually withstand the high temperature outside the lava lake. Why is this person collecting the black smoke above the lava lake? Look at that devil monkey. Isn't it the one that slipped away during the chaotic battle? I remember that junior brother Zhang Yang chose the same direction as the devil monkey to escape. These three people were the disciples of the blood-refining sect. They were led by Chun Fenghua, the blood devil. Chun Fenghua's complexion wasn't bad. It was unknown if he had used a special pill, but he had recovered a lot of his devil chi. The two people beside him were the same. In Chun Fenghua's team, other than the disciples of the Chun family, the others were also from the Chun family faction. Previously, when they were ambushed by the Seven Fiends sect and the Yin-Yang sect, in order to save Chun Fenghua's life, three Chun family disciples resolutely blew themselves up, allowing the three of them to escape. Later, Chun Fenghua's luck changed. Not only did he meet other disciples of the blood-refining sect, but he also killed many demonic cultivators of the two demonic sects, reaping huge benefits. The reason why they could recover a lot of their devil chi in less than half a day was because they had taken some rare pills from the spoils of war. Chun Fenghua and the other two people had a method of communication. After dispersing, they gathered together again and boldly advanced towards the volcano in the middle. Chun Fenghua was the young master of the Chun family, the head of the three major families of the blood-refining sect. He was also the blood devil of the blood-refining sect. He had a lot of top-secret techniques in his hands. At this time, the three people were using a formation similar to the level 6 demonic fiend array. Although the defensive power of the formation couldn't reach the level of an intermediate core formation cultivator, it could at least withstand a few attacks from an early core formation demonic cultivator using a pseudo-magic weapon. Moreover, it only required 3 people to use it. More importantly, under the circumstances where the attacks were limited, the consumption of devil chi wasn't high. Relying on this, Chun Fenghua dared to explore the volcano. They came from a magma river outside the volcano and followed the magma stream flowing out from the cracks of the lava lake. All the way up, they consumed a lot of devil chi. Finally, they arrived here and saw the scene in front of them. Chun Fenghua narrowed his eyes. This stone is strange. Did you notice that the air above the stone doesn't seem to be too distorted? Obviously, its temperature isn't high. I don't know what kind of material it is, but it can withstand the high temperature here. The reason why the cultivator and the devil monkey could get close to the lava lake was because of this stone. When the other two heard this, their eyes revealed greed. They weren't stupid and immediately understood that with this stone, they could explore the volcano without any scruples. Whenever their devil chi was about to be exhausted, they could sit on this stone to recover their devil chi. There was no need to worry about anything. Chun Fenghua whispered, "That guy should have seen us." However, our divine senses are greatly restricted here. We can't use Dharma artifacts to attack him. We can only use Fire Tribute Devil Dao spells to deal with him. The 3 of us are at the great circle of Foundation establishment. Even if that person and the devil monkey work together, they're definitely no match for us. Who knows, that person might have a large number of devil stones on him. Chun Fenghua continued. During the battle, the devil Dao cultivators of the West region and the 7 Kills sect were chasing after this devil monkey. At that time, it had a storage bag with it. It's highly likely that there are devil stones in it. Once we get rid of this person and the monkey, our mission of 10,000 devil stones should be completed. The 2 people beside him nodded their heads and revealed excited expressions. After surviving a great disaster, we are bound for good fortune. It feels like even the heavens are helping us. Yes, let's not talk about anything else. With this stone, we can completely explore the volcano before the other 2 sects recover. In such a hot environment, there must be a lot of top-notch fire tribute materials. Just as Chun Fenghua and the other 2 quickened their pace towards Duan, the lava on the surface of the lava lake suddenly churned, and a huge fiery red crocodile over 6 meters long appeared from the scorching lava. Chapter 733. This fiery demon alligator was obviously a powerful demonic beast. Hot lava flowed on its stone like scales. Just the defensive power of this armor alone was enough to frighten anyone. Chun Fenghua saw the full appearance of this fiery demon alligator and thought of something. His face revealed extreme fear. There's actually a fiery demon alligator in this volcano. Damn it, it's almost 10 meters long. It's at least a peak level 4 demonic beast. In this environment, we have no chance of winning. Retreat. I hope the fiery demon alligator attacks that man and monkey first. Only then will we have a chance to retreat. The other two had never heard of the fiery demon alligator before. However, when they thought of the appearance of this fiery demon alligator, they knew that it was likely to live in the lava. The three of them did not hesitate and turned to flee down the volcano. Unfortunately, they had to activate their secret defensive technique at all times. Therefore, their speed of escape was not much different from walking. As Chun Fenghua retreated, he searched through the memories of the fiery demon alligator in his mind. In the sect, he had always wanted a top-level demonic beast as his spiritual beast. Therefore, he read a large number of books related to demonic beasts in the sect. The records of the fiery demon alligator in the blood-refining sect were related to the Yuan realm. It should be the second level of the realm. It was said that hundreds of years ago, a core formation stage senior of the blood-refining sect found a lava cave in the second level of the realm. Not only did it have the rare demonic flame mushroom, but it also had many precious refining materials. In addition, there seemed to be other demonic items that other core formation stage cultivators coveted. However, in the lava cave, there was a small group of fiery demon alligators. There were 6 to 7 fiery demon alligators that were above level 5. In the high temperature of the lava cave, even if the core formation stage cultivators of the blood refining sect worked together, it would be difficult for them to gain an advantage. In this book, Chun Fenghua learned about the fiery demon alligator. Generally speaking, the larger the body, the higher the level of the fiery demon alligator. 10 meters long was the standard for a level 5 fiery demon alligator. Chun Fenghua was a little depressed. If this fiery demon alligator appeared in other places in the secret realm, I might be able to subdue it with my 2 junior brothers. What a pity! Senior brother Chun, this is bad. The fiery demon alligator is coming for us. Chun Fenghua recalled the fiery demon alligator. What did you say? Chun Fenghua turned around to look, and his expression changed drastically. The fiend molten alligator ignored the man and monkey at the edge of the lava lake. It seemed to have locked onto the 3 of them and was charging straight at them. Although the molten fiend crocodile's body was huge and looked very clumsy, its movement speed on the volcanic ground was not slow at all. In a situation where they could not fly, there was no way they could escape. Both sides were only a few hundred feet apart. The molten fiend crocodile quickly caught up. Its body twisted, and its extremely thick and solid tail, covered with rock-like scales, whipped over with a whistling sound. The only thing Chun Fenghua and the others could do now was to activate the defensive secret technique to the maximum. With a loud bang, the black defensive barrier was sent flying by a powerful force. At the same time, there was still some lava left on the scales of the molten fiend crocodile's tail. As the tail hit the barrier, sizzling sounds of burning could be heard. When Chun Fenghua saw that half of the barrier's light had dissipated, he felt relieved. He felt that this defensive barrier could at least withstand a few more attacks. However, he soon realized that after the barrier was sent flying, they fell beside the lava stream. Not good. This guy's going to throw us into the lava stream. He immediately understood the demonic beast's intentions. In the lava, they could only last for 10 breaths at most. To the molten fiend crocodile that lived in the lava, rolling in the lava was much easier than whipping its tail. Chun Fenghua and the others forcibly mobilized the demon energy in their bodies and shot out several magic attacks. At the same time, they also used many talismans. Chun Fenghua, in particular, shot out 3 blood demon arrows at once. He led the other magic attacks and blasted towards the molten fiend alligator. If they were in other places, this round of magic attacks could definitely hit the molten fiend alligator. However, In this volcanic area, as soon as the blood demon arrows appeared in the air, they were affected by the high temperature and emitted wisps of white smoke. It was the same for the other magic attacks. The high temperature and the restriction of everyone's divine senses greatly affected the speed of the magic attacks. They were at least half as slow as before. However, the demon beast's eyes glowed red. Its body did not move, and it did not seem to have any intention of dodging. The molten fiend alligator opened its bloody mouth, and a scorching aura appeared. Immediately after, a lava breath that was almost as hot as the lava was spat out from its mouth. Huff, huff, huff. Chun Fenghua's 3 blood demon arrows and several other magic attacks were directly hit by the lava breath. They were immediately extinguished by the high temperature. The remaining flame breath bombarded the black barrier. This flame was comparable to the dermic fire of the core formation stage. Its power was astonishing. The black barrier of Chun Fenghua and the others melted at a speed visible to the naked eye. Chun Fenghua's eyes flickered. While maintaining the defensive secret technique, he secretly pressed a green jade pendant on his waist with one hand. Senior Brother Chun, we can't hold on any longer. We don't have much magic power left. The other two were trying their best to maintain the defensive array. Their faces were full of despair. Originally, they had been running low on magic power all the way to the mountainside. The magic power consumed by the defensive secret technique was directly proportional to the attack. This wave of attack by the molten fiend alligator had consumed a lot of their magic power. They were at the mountainside of the volcano. Without the defensive secret technique, even if they did not have the molten fiend alligator, they would not be able to hold on until they reached the foot of the volcano. Finally, under the attack of the flame breath, the top-notch defensive barrier shattered. At the same time, the molten fiend alligator's flame breath also ended. At this moment, the jade pendant on Chun Fenghua's waist gushed out a layer of faint black light that enveloped his body. At the same time, he made a hand seal. When a molten fiend alligator saw the black turtle shell dissipate, its 4 thick and short legs rushed up very quickly. However, it did not pay attention to Chun Fenghua. Instead, it swung its tail and clawed, tearing apart the magic power barrier that the other 2 blood-refining sect disciples had just put up. It opened its bloody mouth and swallowed their heads. The 2 headless corpses fell by the lava stream. Without the support of magic power, their bodies spontaneously combusted, leaving behind several storage pouches. As for Chun Fenghua, a strange smile appeared on his face. Then his whole body disappeared like a phantom, leaving the molten fiend alligator stunned. At this moment, a fist-sized rock shot over from afar. It was mixed with the sound of breaking air as it blasted into an open space not far behind the molten fiend alligator. Clang! A figure was sent flying by a huge force and fell to the ground. It was Chun Fenghua who had used the demonic blood art's demonic phantom shield technique to sneak out. He looked at the black light barrier outside his body that had dissipated by more than half. Then, he looked at the magic stone that was not far from his feet. He stood there in a daze, not daring to make the slightest movement. At the side of the lava lake in the distance, the figure of a burly man appeared out of nowhere. He was wearing a black robe, and there was no magic power barrier around his body. TSK. Chun Fenghua, you've made rapid progress in the past 20 years. Your cultivation has directly reached the great circle of foundation establishment. It seems that the magic power cultivation secret technique from before was very comfortable for you. That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.